Go for it.
Ah, yeah. Ah, yeah. You can book if you want to, but you can't hide.
Welcome to Book It, a wrestling podcast where book and revisit your favorite wrestling storylines. I'm your commissioner, High Five Mike, and today our GM's Damone, D-Money Allen.
I can't wait to crucify someone tonight.
I'm Mouthful Travie T.
Well, first off, don't call another drum man Mouthful. Pause.
So don't eat when you're doing a podcast.
You're not my boss.
Don't take a bite right when you know you're about to get introduced.
Supervisor.
Late night, Keif.
First of all, I'd like to thank you all for coming. Oh, wait. Those aren't my Book It notes. Those are my notes from the orgy the other night. Sorry.
I hate you. Kenny, bad guy.
Acknowledge me.
And Lil Fudge.
I'm the one who crucified someone last week.
And this week we are gonna do our final round of the Book It Verse 2. Everybody give a round of applause. We've made it.
No.
At least 6 weeks of booking.
No one's clapping for you, Travis.
Let's start the next 3 weeks. We're gonna start with Travis and Keith. Next week it's gonna be Damone and myself, and then the week after to finish it out is gonna be Lil Fudge and Kenny. So this week we're just gonna go ahead and get started. If you haven't listened to, if this is your first episode, go back. I recommend you listen to the other episodes of the Book It Verse, of this one or the last one, to get you caught up to speed, so you know really what's going on. So
Really, they should just go back to the beginning of Book It. And
no, don't do that.
listen to all.
At least
I
start
don't
at the
even
GOAT
listen to the
tournament.
last
That's when
Book It
shit
No,
got
Verse.
good.
no, this is what you're supposed to do. You're
back.
supposed to listen to this whole episode, then go back to episode 1, listen to them all the way back to this point, then go backwards and start from this point backwards. Listen to them in reverse.
I like
Not
that.
even just in
Damone really wants his
different-
$3 of streaming revenue.
Then what you really do is you play them both at the same time in different years, and you play one forward and one backward and see where they link up.
Yeah. See if we say anything demonic.
I definitely have. It's going forwards. Last week.
So Keith and Travis, who wants to go first?
I'll start things off here. That's not me.
I can't change you until I fucking press the button.
God, Mike, you're fucking up.
I can't do anything.
We know.
So
You're already
we
getting
welcome
0.5.
you-
That's it. The whole thing will be 0.5.
I'm on
talk
board.
about-
Let's go.
Don't talk
Wrap
about my
up early.
birthday like that.
Tuck the kids in. We're going to bed.
Fuck you, Mike. Just kidding. So we start off.
0.25.
This is Alpha Wrestling Championship presents Takeover. And we don't have any prelims, which I think Mike
Base.
should bump his 2.5 up a little bit for. The first match we're going to start off with is a War Games match right off the get. Coming in hot, hit the ad, and we'll come right back.
What?
Coming in hot.
Are you tired? Tired of those other energy drinks hitting you with a short burst of jittery energy, followed by a crash that leaves you with less energy than you had before? Well, fear not, because Ray's energy drinks are specifically formulated to get you going without making you jittery and keeps you from crashing. With 0 sugars, 0 calories, and better caffeine than a cup of coffee, Ray's energy drinks are the #1 growing energy drink on the market. With flavors like Baja Lime, Sour Gummy Worm, Guava Mango, and Strawberry Colada, Ray's has some of the best tasting energy drinks available. You can get a case of Ray's right now by going to repsports.com and using promo code T1THREE when you check out to take 15% off of your next order. That's promo code T1THREE for 15% off your next order of better, tastier energy.
Don't try to segue to an ad 5 minutes into the episode.
Right.
And
You
not,
guys
try to get
not
it done
any
with.
sort of like
go. You guys are Goldberg. You need a fucking rest hold 2 minutes into the show.
like hit an ad. Like I'm shoving my face full of Cheetos, waiting for you to talk.
My bad. I had the perfect segue to the wrong ad.
Well, I didn't know. You just said ad. I was like, what? What?
He
All
said
right.
coming in hot.
Well, I panic hit an ad.
Anyway, live AWC War Games or AWC Takeover is starting off with a War Games match. The Saturday night at Supreme after All Out is live from Washington, D.C., and Batista steps out to the ring to speak to his hometown fans. Can't do a Batista. Damn, it feels good to be home. And he gets a huge pop from the crowd. You know what else feels good? Well, first of all, Ric Flair lost his championship to one hell of a challenger in Mick Foley. And Mick, you better believe it when I say you and I will be having a conversation very soon about that AWC championship. But besides that, I was able to close the door on the 4 when I planted Randy Orton flat into the mat and he was unable to answer a 10 count. It feels so good to finally get refocused on the AWC championship. And as he says that, music for the 4 hits. Cesaro, Tyson Kidd, and Randy Orton step out onto the stage from the curtain and then start walking down the ramp to the ring. You think this is over? No, Dave. This is far from over for you. You were a thorn in our sides before, but now you become a full-blown infection. And the only way to cure an infection is to completely remove it. We're going to take you out of Alpha Wrestling Championship tonight. Sorry, stutters.
Doesn't even know where he works.
I haven't done this in a while.
Even he agrees it should be a.
Shut the fuck up,
ECW.
Damone. Shut the fuck up.
There's plenty of other ways to remove
ECW.
infections, actually, though. Like, that's not correct.
John, wrestling, not
Hypothetically speaking.
Well, you said to remove an infection, and he said the only way to get rid of an infection is to remove it. So, same thing.
Same thing.
Shut the fuck up.
Take an antibiotic, you fucking dork.
And what does that do? What does that do? It removes the infection.
But
Thank you.
they're acting like you're chopping off a fucking limb.
It doesn't matter. That's
Okay.
not what they said.
We're gonna treat the
You assume
infection.
that, right? Like,
We're gonna decrease the symptoms over time.
It's gonna be a zombie storyline.
Yep. It's the big payoff. It turns
Go for
into
it.
zombies. The 3 members of the
No, just me. Okay.
the 3 members of the 4 surround the ring, and Ric Flair's music plays. He walks down to the ring, removing his suit jacket, his watch, his cufflinks, and rolling up his sleeves. 4 surround the animal and start to climb onto the apron. Kidd and Cesaro are first to step in the ring and try to ambush Batista, but he's able to fight them off for a moment. Randy Orton is right behind him and chop blocks Batista, taking him down at the knee. The 3 pummel the animal as Ric Flair steps between the ropes. Kidd, Cesaro, and Orton continue to kick and punch Batista as Flair approaches, grabs Batista by the face, and levels him with punches, taking out all his frustrations from losing the AWC Championship on Batista. Batista's lip gets busted by Flair and is just a little busted, not like crazy, but you see a little bit. At the direction of Randy Orton, Tyson Kidd and Cesaro slide out of the ring and grab chairs from the timekeeper area. They get back in the ring with the chairs and hand both to Orton. Orton then looks to Flair and hands him one of the chairs. Cesaro and Kidd hold Batista upright in the middle of the ring as Orton and Flair step back to the corners and get in the ready position to do a full swing concerto. As they wind up, they go to swing, but the Hardy Boys music hits and the brothers storm the ring with steel pipes and chair in hand. Flair and Orton are able to make it out of the ring, but Kidd and Cesaro go to meet the Hardys, with Matt and Jeff leveling them with their weapons. Jeff hits Kidd, knocking him out of the ring, and Matt jabs Cesaro in the ribs, and drops the chair and goes for a twist of fate on the chair, but Cesaro is pulled out of the ring by Orton. The four regroup outside of the ring and make their way towards the ramp as Batista takes to the microphone. And he's tired. He just got beat up. He's a little exhausted. Should have had a raise. He says, "You sons of bitches want to end me? You want to put the animal down? Then let's finish this. I want to take on the four locked inside a cage with the animal in the most extreme tag team in AWC. So let's finish this once and for all inside of War Games." Says it just like William Regal does.
War Games.
With a British accent and all.
Yeah. He took the time. In the following weeks, Batista and the Hardys have a couple 6-man tag matches and are able to earn the victory together working as a team. The first week, the Hardys are attacked, are attacked after their match in the locker room by Cesaro and Kid. When Batista runs to help him, Orton and Flair join in, and the four lay out their opponents. The next week, Eric Bischoff schedules a match between the Hardys and Cesaro and Kid. Stephanie steps into frame and says that Batista and Orton and Flair will have to be banned from ringside if this match is to happen, because the winner is going to get the advantage in the War Games match. The Hardys nearly get the victory, but Cesaro and Kid cheat by Cesaro rolls up Jeff, and Kid holds Cesaro's back to help him up. So he's got him in the roll up, and Kid slides in the ring and uses his foot to hold him up. They secure the win, and Matt Hardy rushes back into the ring to help his brother, but Kid and Cesaro jump him and beat him down. Batista tries to make the save, but Flair and Orton are not far behind him, and they catch up to him before he makes it to the ring, and the four beat on their 3 opponents. Orton again directs Kid and Cesaro to grab chairs, and they hand the chairs to Orton, who hands another chair to Flair. The four set up Batista for another concerto, but before they can level Batista, a familiar song plays, and out from the stage runs none other than Ricky Steamboat. Steamboat rushes the ring and disposes of Cesaro and Kid first. Orton is next, and the Dragon is able to get the best of him. Flair goes to hit Steamboat with the chair, but is blocked by Batista rushing at him and nailing him with a spear. The Hardys have gotten to their feet, and they clothesline Kid and Cesaro out of the ring. Orton gets to his feet and is hit with a chair by Steamboat in the gut. Or hit by a chair by Steamboat, and Orton falls out of the ring. Flair slowly stumbles to his feet and is surrounded by Batista, Steamboat, and the Hardys. The Hardys double punch Flair from either side. Steamboat sidekicks Flair in the gut, and Batista snatches Flair and puts him in the position for the Batista bomb. He lifts Flair up, but Orton is able to grab Flair's foot, and Kid and Cesaro help him pull and settle Flair down on the apron and back out of the ring. The four back away as Batista and the Hardys shake hands with Steamboat.
All right, I have something to add in here real quick before the actual match starts. Note that Ricky Steamboat hasn't been seen in about 6 months since his match with Ric Flair.
So he gets a
when he
big
passed
pop.
out to the figure 4.
Big pop. Everybody loves it. Put Travis on the big screen.
Except Kenny.
Oh, you want me to do? You're doing the match. You're doing the match.
Oh, that's right. I'm doing the match.
Yeah,
Sorry.
for this one, you're doing the match.
So this match starts off with Steamboat and Kid doing kind of basic wrestling maneuvers. They're just trying to get the best of each other and kind of feel out the process. But Steamboat's trying to go on the attack because he knows he doesn't have the advantage, and he has to hurt Kid first. Orton is first out of the cage, and he grabs a chair before entering, or first out of their pods in the front.
Yeah. The holding cell.
Yeah, that. And he grabs a chair before entering the cage. Kid has Steamboat in a wrist lock, and Orton hits a chair-assisted chop block to the previously injured leg of Steamboat. They double team and weaken Steamboat's leg, with Matt Hardy coming out next. He runs in and grabs a ladder from under the ring and slides it in, but is immediately hit with a chair shot to the head from Randy Orton. and then is battered by Orton with the chair. Orton and Kidd continue the assault on the leg of Steamboat, with Cesaro coming out next on his way to the ring. Orton screams out for Cesaro to grab more chairs before he gets in the ring. Cesaro brings in 3 more chairs and throws them, like Cesaro takes the chairs out and throws them all the way over the cage because he is strong boy. Let's see. The 3 men batter down the baby faces with the chairs as Jeff Hardy is the next out of his pod. He slides in a few weapons of his own, tables, chairs, trash cans, and Jeff is able to get in the ring by swinging randomly to try to keep the 4 back. Let's see. But eventually the numbers game catch up, and the heels are able to take Hardy down. Flair is out next. He enters the ring immediately and starts bashing the knees of Steamboat and stomps him on him, hits him with chairs, punching him forearms, just going wild on him. The 4 are standing tall, beating the competition down, and finally it's time for Batista to go to make his entrance into the match. But before the ref can let him out of the cage, Paul Heyman pushes the referee down and puts a padlock on the cage door, trapping the animal inside. Batista is enraged as the 4 continue to destroy the babyfaces in the ring with their chairs in hand. Paul Heyman rushes to ringside and tells...
Sorry to cut you off. Can you repeat that last little bit?
Yeah.
From before Paul Heyman.
Finally, it's time for Batista to come to the ring, but before the ref can let him out of his cage, Paul Heyman pushes the ref down and puts a padlock on the cage door, trapping the animal inside. Batista is enraged as the 4 continue to destroy the baby faces in the ring, his chairs in hand.
I thought Batista was the first one out.
Nope, it was Tyson Kidd and Ricky Steamboat.
Steamboat.
Paul Heyman rushes to the ringside and demands that the timekeeper ring the bell and start the match officially. The ringside refs explained that the match cannot begin until Batista officially enters the ring. As Paul Heyman throws a fit on the outside, on the inside of the ring, you see the heels are teeing off on the baby faces and taunting to the crowd. So let's see. Back on the stage, we see Batista arguing with the referees on the outside who are unable to get him out. They're telling them they're trying to find bolt cutters to remove the lock, but they have nothing that they can do. Batista grabs onto the door and starts to shake it back and forth until he finally is able to rip the door completely off the hinges. He steps out and sprints to the ring. Inside the ring, the 4 have set up a table and are about to send Ricky Steamboat through the table when Flair realizes that Batista is able to get out of the cage and is entering the ring. Flair shoves Cesaro towards Batista, and Cesaro eats a big boot. Next is Tyson Kidd, who gets tossed from one ring to the other ring. Orton and Batista start trading blows in the center of the ring, but Batista picks him up and hits a spine buster onto the side of the cage, laying Orton out. Flair is on the opposite corner from Batista now, and he is begging and pleading with Batista, like doing that cowering, like backing up against the corner. And Flair even drops to his knees and pleads with Batista and begs him to spare him. The animal grabs Flair by the hair and is talking to him in his face, gets him to his feet, and Flair is still pleading with Batista to not beat him up. Batista shoves him in the corner and goes to strike him, but Cesaro and Kidd hit a dual chop block to the animal. Kidd and Cesaro lay into him on the ground as Flair gets away from Batista while shouting out orders to the rest of the 4. Orton gets back to his feet and grabs a chair and lays into the spine of Batista, and the 4 have taken the animal down. But as they turn around, they're hit with a table-assisted poetry in motion, tope con hilo, from Matt and Jeff Hardy. So like they run from one cage, jump on the table, poetry in motion con hilo to the other ring. Jeff gets up to his feet Matt and Jeff get up to their feet. Matt grabs a steel chair and starts bashing Kidd and Cesaro with it while Jeff sets up a ladder between the 2 rings. But he starts climbing the side of the cage instead of the ladder. Matt lays into Cesaro near the ladder and begins to climb up. And Matt hits, and both brothers look to each other and do the Team Extreme. And then Matt hits an extreme leg drop onto Cesaro off the ladder. But at the same time, Jeff dives off the cage and does a swanton bomb onto Kid. But just before Hardy crashes into Kid, Orton moves and Tyson Kidd's body, and Jeff smacks into the canvas. Matt sees what happens to his brother, and he goes to try to save him, but Orton hits him with an RKO as soon as he stands up. Orton screams at Kid to grab a chair, and both men start smashing the Hardys and turn around to a diving crossbody from Ricky Steamboat. Steamboat hobbles to his feet, still showing signs of injury to his leg, and he starts to kind of pump up the crowd. He's getting it going. As the Ultimate Babyface hypes up the crowd, Ric Flair smashes a steel chair into Steamboat's injured leg. Flair continually smashes the chair into Steamboat's knee as he throws the chair aside and grabs Steamboat's injured leg. Flair does his pre-figure 4, woo, and he struts around, feeling confident. But as he turns around to lock in the figure 4, Batista hits him with a spear. Orton storms at Batista, but Batista is able to slam him down with a spine buster. Cesaro tries to take the animal down next, but is met with a running clothesline. Tyson Kidd jumps on his back and tries to lock in a sleeper hold, but gets countered with a spinning side slam onto the mat. Batista goes crazy, hyping up the crowd, and he grabs the ropes, starts shaking him and pounding his foot, and he turns around and grabs Ric Flair, picks him up, and hits a Batista bomb through the table for the pin and the win.
$5.
Yo, that was a good way to start this off. I like that. Let's keep it going. Who's next with the
Are
5
y'all
train?
gonna do that every
No.
time?
Yes.
Yes.
Y'all gotta get a new bit.
Why? Who wants to go first?
When the bit kills, you keep doing it.
Who wants to go first?
I don't have a number yet, but I have a few thoughts.
Okay.
I want to hear at least one other number. I think I want to go second.
Can you give us your thoughts first?
Yes, I can give some thoughts. Promos could have been way better. I thought that they lacked any sort of emotion or energy. I know I'm sounding like such an asshole when I say that, but he really was just like, "Oh, you dirty 4, I sure am gonna kick your butt." Like, I don't know. The promos are kind of corny, and there was only one promo leading up to it, and then I don't know. I didn't love that. Steamboat, as much as I respect his in-ring work, was kind of underwhelming. He's kind of got that face Roman heat from us right now. And I do like the idea of booking this match because it gets the 4 away from the world title in a way that makes sense. So
it's been one of the long-term storylines since the beginning is Batista versus the 4.
Yeah.
And everybody in this match has had, like, Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy were involved against the 4 in the first 3 pay-per-views. Ricky Steamboat obviously got put out of commission by the 4.
So the matchmaking was good and the match was good. I just thought that there were some story points that were kind of eh.
Okay.
So but yeah, that's my thoughts.
Okay. I'm gonna say my thoughts, but while I'm saying that, I'll probably come up with a number. So first off, you explained it, which made it a lot better. The mixed match team.
Yeah.
But the mixed match team should have won this. The 4 should have won. I feel like the 4 have they won anything during this entire?
Yeah.
I feel like I know Ric Flair was world champion.
Yeah, and Tyson Kidd and Cesaro were tag champions, and then
Randy win a match? Yeah,
Randy Orton beat the brakes off of Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy. Yeah, they definitely won. It definitely went from a high, go up to their peak, and now we're in their descent.
Okay, but I still don't think they should have lost to a team that isn't together at all. And it's not like they lost because they made a critical mistake or something like that. They just got purely beat essentially by one man. They pretty much Batista beat 4 people, which I don't like. Also, so you said that Batista ripped the door off the hinges, right?
Yes.
Why couldn't he just stop Heyman in the first place from locking it?
He wasn't expecting it. It's a fit of rage type thing. It's not like he just thought he could rip the fucking door off the handle.
Okay.
He was throwing a fit.
So,
He was
But-
throwing a fit.
So Paul Heyman comes up with the lock, takes the time to lock the door. During this whole time, Batista's just standing there.
There's already a chain and a lock on there. He just
yeah, there's already a lock.
And no
It's
one
already
has
locked.
the key.
No, Paul Heyman's got the fucking key.
Why does Paul Heyman have the key?
He put the fucking lock on there.
Oh, so who
There's
watched
two
Paul
locks.
Heyman?
Come on, listen. There's one chain and lock to keep them in there normally, okay?
Okay.
The ref has the key for that. He goes to unlock it. Paul Heyman pushes his ass down and puts a second lock on there. Paul Heyman has the key for the second lock. The second lock was put on there to keep Batista in the cage. This is also not something I invented. Like, I'll take the non-originality points, but like, they do this spot every time they do war games. Like, literally forever. This is a trope. Like,
I understand. I hate the trope.
why? It's a good heel move.
It's a good trope.
But when you do it every time, it's part of the.
The thing that I made different was I had him rip the door off. Usually they just got to wait till somebody cuts the fucking lock off. And I thought it'd be cooler to see fucking Batista Hulk out and fucking pull the fucking door off.
Yeah. So I think overall the match was good. I think the wrong team won. I don't love that spot. So I'm gonna give you a 3.75.
Okay.
One more time. Who was all in the match?
It's Tyson Kidd, Cesaro, Randy Orton, and Ric Flair, which is the 4. They're managed by Paul Heyman. And then you've got Batista, Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy, and Ricky Steamboat,
Okay.
which are
I
all
do
the baby
agree that
faces
Ricky.
that.
I do agree Ricky Steamboat is being the like forced surprise person is kind of a letdown.
Oh, I'm not.
It makes sense, but nobody
Yeah.
wanted it.
Here's the thing. We already were leaning into that. We're not. The one thing you can say about AWC is that we've stayed on our path. Fuck y'all. If y'all don't like it, fuck you. Here's what we have planned. This is what we're doing.
Who's next? Who wants
Well,
to go?
I'm going with a
Yeah.
3.5. That's what I'm
Okay.
going.
I've kind of heard the consensus on numbers, and they line up with my thoughts. And Damone did point out a couple things that I agree with, such as Batista did kind of dominate the offense of the match. And when you got so many people that are capable of so much in one match, I do expect a little bit more from those individuals. So I'm going to match. I agree with both Kenny and Damone's numbers. I don't know which one I'm going to match. I'll be nice. I'll match Damone's 3.75.
Thank you. Just for like
Keith,
not
that's your
to sway,
stipend.
but obviously, Mike is gonna still vote however Mike's gonna vote. But I just want to defend the point of Batista doing
Okay.
this. So like when building a match, like if you watch wrestling, like obviously the heels beat down, babyface comeback, right? Batista was meant to be the comeback. Like he comes in, he just goes fucking crazy. It's supposed to pop the crowd. It's supposed to be like a huge, like. It's 8 people in a long match, so for us to be able to effectively tell the story, and also spoiler alert for you guys, this is a war game centric thing. There's 3 war games matches,
Oh
so
God.
to differentiate, we have to do what we have to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand.
It had to be. This match is different and more storyline in ring story. Does that make sense? Instead of spot heavy.
Yeah, I still don't like. Pretty much said it was a handicap match, and Batista beat 4 2 world champions and a guy who could be a world champion and Tyson Kidd.
But Batista's been booked as like a monster.
Since you said that happens in like every war games, I expect that spot to come up 2 more times.
It won't. You're gonna
just write something down.
Well, then you turned yourself into a liar, and
that's fine.
I just write something down real quick.
Not the first time I've been that.
I'm gonna go. I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it, but there obviously were.
This is
You're
gross.
just pissing me off. I'm trying to talk. I didn't hate it. I like war games matches, obviously. I mean, the obvious stuff was pointed out. I'm gonna go 375 as well.
Okay.
All right.
I don't have many notes on it. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
All right,
It's
you can
okay.
switch me over.
No.
How many matches do you have total?
6 scheduled matches.
I'm adding 3 more. every
And-
time I
and-
pass.
I love how he said
Wait,
scheduled as if they're
so-
mid show is gonna add like 2.
So wait, sorry. Let me
Write it as
do
we
that
go.
again, Travis. You have 6 matches, and 3 of them are war games.
Yeah.
Ew, that's a risk.
Okay, keep it moving.
Let's see if it works out for him, Cotton.
All right. So, Daniel Bryan has been invited to be a guest on Baywatch with Chris Bay. Chris Bay starts by congratulating Bryan on his successful title defense. The tone of the interview quickly turns, however, as look on Bay's face changes from soft and pleasant talk show host to more aggressive. Bay spends the interview provoking Daniel Bryan, calling him a coward, claiming DB is ducking him. Bay tells Bryan that he is the cruiserweight who can grapple and high fly, and even insinuating Bryan is afraid to challenge a man with as colorful of a personality as Bay. Bryan tries to object only for Bay to interrupt and talk over him, not allowing Bryan a word. You're not a champ. You're a chump. You're scared to face someone like me, the best high flyer, the best grappler, the most charismatic, and the best damn looking cruiserweight in all of AWC. Matter of fact, we're canceling this episode of Baywatch because, and this is for real, I'm not talking to you as an AWC talent. This is Christopher looking Bryan in his eyes and telling him that I'm better than you. And I am the end of your road for your Cruiserweight Championship reign. Now get the hell out of my set. Daniel Bryan is taken aback by his accusations and starts to address his claims. I don't choose who I face. Bryan is interrupted when Bay smacks his microphone out of his hands. I didn't invite you here to talk, so shut your mouth and listen to me. You're looking at the best cruiserweight in AWC and the one that's going to take that Cruiserweight Championship from around your waist. You claim to be something you're not, and I'm going to be the one to expose you as the fraud and coward that you truly are here. Bay pokes Bryan in the chest. Bryan is flabbergasted and completely caught off guard by Bay's accusations. He goes to leave the ring, and Bay continues to berate him. That's right, Bryan. Walk away. That's all you ever do. You walked away from the ring because you got a little injury. You walked out on the WWE, and now you're walking away now. Bay starts to flip the furniture on the set of Baywatch. Bryan leaves the ring, never taking his eyes from Bay. Bay destroys the set and stands in the ring, staring deep into Bryan's eyes. Weeks before AWC TakeOver, Bay has become more and more vicious in the ring. He is all flash before the match, but once the bell rings, he is a buzzsaw, methodically attacking his opponents by isolating a body part and using holds and submissions to wear them down. He beats X-Pac using the label lock and staring straight into the hard cam. The following week, Bryan has a match against X-Pac and also wins using the label lock. As Bryan's hand is raised by the ref, Chris Bay steps out on the stage with the microphone in hand. I decided to take this time and steal your spotlight for all the times you stole someone else's spotlight, Bryan. You're selfish. You only care about yourself and you don't give a damn who you have to step on or push out of the way to get what you want most. And no, it's not a husband or a father. Bay turns to face the camera and says, that's right, Birdie, take a good long look because this is the only time you'll get to see Daddy. Every week right here in AWC Supreme. The only difference is, Daniel, this week, when you go home to spend daddy time for 3 hours, you won't be going home with that Cruiserweight Championship. In fact, little Birdie will be lucky if Daddy is even able to recognize. Birdie will be lucky if she's even able to recognize her daddy after TakeOver. Hell, maybe I'll have time to stop by and Bree can find out who Daddy really is. Bryan storms out of the ring after Bay, but Bay dips behind the curtain. As Bryan gets to the curtain, he's leveled with a super kick from Bay and knocked out onto the entryway. Bay creeps out from behind the curtain laughing. He mounts Bryan and rains down punches. Bay stands over Bryan and raises his hands, staring down at Daniel Bryan. All right, so the match starts, and Daniel Bryan immediately starts circling Chris Bay and just like trying to shoot him to take him down. And Chris Bay like does the, where he hides in the ropes, like in between the middle and the second rope, and he grabs a microphone and he says, Daniel, you're supposed to be the king of honor. What happened to shaking hands before a match? The most respectful way to begin a match. Shake my hand, Daniel. And Daniel's standing in the middle of the ring with his hands on his hips, shaking his head at him. And Chris Bay walks back in slowly and extends his hand to him. Daniel Bryan looks at him, sticks his hand out, and then slaps Chris Bay across the face and immediately hits him with a German suplex. The commentary team is talking about how you can't attack a man and call out his wife and his children and expect him to shake his hand. So he hits him with a German suplex. Chris Bay rolls back up onto his feet. Daniel Bryan goes for a second German suplex, but he's reversed by Chris Bay. Chris Bay lands on his feet, and as Daniel Bryan goes to sit up, Chris Bay hits him with a switchblade kick to the back of the head. Daniel Bryan's selling the neck, and he's trying to stand back up, and Chris Bay jumps up and hits swag surf, which is where he jumps onto the back and then curb stomps you from the back. Chris Bay is taunting at the crowd now, and the boos are just raining in. He jumps to the ground and starts forearming repeatedly to the neck of Daniel Bryan. He then is taunting, circling around Daniel Bryan. As Daniel Bryan makes his way to his feet, he gets hit with a Baymaster for a 1 count, which Chris Bay can't believe. It was only a 1 count. He thought for sure that Daniel Bryan was going out. And Chris Bay says, "Maybe you're tougher than I thought, Daniel." Daniel Bryan starts to sit up, and Chris Bay hits him with a photo op drop kick, which is just like a basement drop kick. He then picks Daniel Bryan up and hits him with a roundhouse kick. He goes to pick Daniel Bryan up again and go for another roundhouse kick, but Bryan catches him and hits a dragon screw and then immediately locks in the heel hook. He's trying to keep the heel hook locked in, but Chris Bay goes over and grabs the ropes. Daniel Bryan immediately rips him from the ropes with a belly-to-back suplex. As Bay starts to work himself back to his feet, belly-to-belly suplex from Bryan. And Bryan's just going crazy with suplexes. He goes for a second belly-to-belly suplex, but is reversed into a pop-up facebuster by Chris Bay. Chris Bay then immediately starts stomping on the back of the head of Daniel Bryan and taunting at the crowd. He looks into the hard camera and asks Brie if this is the man she really wanted to marry.
He's talking shit the whole time.
Yeah. Pretty much anytime Daniel Bryan's on the ground, he's grabbing the camera and talking into it. I'm not going to go spot for spot with this because it's kind of dumb, but they keep going back and forth. Chris Bay's beating the hell out of him for the longest time. Then, hold on, I've lost my place. Sorry. Daniel Bryan makes his comeback. He hits a front missile drop kick, double underhook float over suplex into a cross arm breaker by Bryan. He instantly transitions that into the label lock, but Chris Bay is able to get his foot just under the rope to break the hold. Daniel Bryan hits him with a tiger suplex and then goes for a single leg Boston Crab. When Chris Bay, I keep forgetting these people's names, sorry. Chris Bay starts moving around, trying to get to the rope. He drags him back into the middle of the ring and transitions that single leg Boston Crab into a ankle lock. And he grapevines the ankle lock and then switches it into a heel hook. Just tearing the knee apart of Chris Bay. Chris Bay ends up getting to the ropes, and Daniel Bryan stands up and goes for a Busaiku knee, but Chris Bay just barely dodges it. He hits him with the triple C, which is a crazy Chris cutter, for a 2 count. And once Bryan kicks out, Chris Bay just snaps and just starts beating the hell out of Daniel Bryan. He picks him up and he power bombs him. He picks him up again and power bomb into the turnbuckle. Picks him up one last time and hits him with a Canadian Destroyer. He goes for the pin, but kicks out right at the last second. He's freaking out. He starts hitting him on the back of the neck with forearms and stomps and whatever he can think of, elbows. He picks Daniel Bryan up and hits him with a Bombay, which is the what is it, Razor's Edge, like Razor Ramon's finisher.
Razor's Edge.
Yeah,
Um,
Razor's Edge.
And then he goes for the pin again, and Daniel Bryan kicks out once right at the last second, just before the ref's hand hits the mat. He goes for a hesitation drop kick to Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan's laying there lifeless. Chris Bay's screaming at him to stay down, stay down. And Chris Bay climbs up to the top rope, like facing the crowd. And Daniel Bryan rushes up behind him and hits a belly-to-back superplex. Excuse me. Daniel Bryan starts hitting him with yes kicks. It's yes. And he goes to hit him with that final kick, but Chris Bay dodges underneath and hits him with a low blow to Bryan. He goes and hits, I can't say this word, Shiranui? Okay. Which is like a flip over thing. And then he hits him with he goes to hit the Chris kick, which is a spinning back hook kick. But Daniel Bryan dodges it, runs across the ring, bounces off the ropes, and hits a Busaiku knee. And then he locks on the label lock and submits Chris Bay. And then 1 second, I forgot to copy the post match in here. Do you have it, Keif?
I do.
Okay, can you just read it?
Absolutely. So after
okay, you got it. You're good.
So after the match, Bryan and Bay are both exhausted, lying on the mat, and the referee grabs the Cruiserweight Championship and goes to hand it to Bryan, who sits up and is holding the title. Bay is slower to get up. He sits up and gets to his knees, and you can see that he's kind of like just holding his face and just angry. Sitting there, he sees Bryan holding the Cruiserweight Championship, and Bryan smiles, and this enrages Bay as he leaps to his feet and straight kicks Bryan in the face, just like Spartan kicks him square in the face, right? Bay proceeds to beat Bryan with stiff kicks and punches, mostly focused on the back and the top of the neck. Bay throws Bryan out of the ring and slides out and reaches under the ring and removes a chair. He wraps the chair around Bryan's neck and throws Bryan into the ring post. Bay then removes the top level of the stairs. He grabs Bryan, yanks him over to the stairs, holds him in position for a pile driver, and he lifts Bryan up and nails a package pile driver dropping Bryan on his neck on the steel steps. AWC personnel and officials rush in and separate Bay from Bryan. Once Bay has been backed off, a stretcher is brought out and Bryan is placed on it with the neck brace. Paramedics roll Bryan up the ramp, heading to the back. But before they can make it to the gorilla position, Chris Bay grabs the stretcher, shoves the medics out of the way, and then shoves Bryan back down the ramp, and the stretcher crashes at the ringside area. With Bay seething and personnel pushing him to the back, Bryan is addressed by medical staff after he's been thrown off of the stretcher.
That's it. $5.
Jesus Christ.
Whole dollars.
Every time you do that, I'm taking 50 cents off.
Who wants to go first?
Still chewing.
The match was cool. The ending was kind of abrupt, I felt like.
Okay.
I don't know, that's just me, but
Is that because they didn't go spot to spot, so it just felt abrupt?
Yeah, I was gonna say I tried not to. I wrote spot for spot, but I was like, I'm gonna try to not just do spot for spot and see how that works. So
no, I hear you. It's just like the ending was just like wow.
Can you give a synopsis of the ending again?
yeah, basically. So what happened was they Chris Bay went to pin him. He kicked out. Chris Bay freaked out, started beating the hell out of his head and neck, hit him with power bomb, followed by a buckle bomb, followed by a Canadian destroyer, followed by a razor's edge. Like, he was just repeatedly smacking his head and neck off the ground with slams. Daniel Bryan still was able to kick out, but Chris Bay was pissed, snapping, yet screaming at Bryan to stay on the ground, beat the hell out of him some more. Went to climb up onto the top rope, got hit with a some suplex, a belly back suplex, sorry. And then he basically went to hit the Chris kick, which is a spinning back kick. Daniel Bryan ducked under it, ran, hit the ropes, hit a Busaiku knee, and then locked in the label lock for the submission.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
There was a couple more spots in there, but like they're not that important. It was like holdover moves.
Mute your mic, Keith. Got a whole zoo over there.
No, that's Mike.
I'm at the same place where I was last match, where I have thoughts but not a number.
Okay.
Okay.
You can give us
So
your
I have-
thoughts. Okay, go ahead.
You want to go? You want to?
If you have a number, you go first.
I have a number.
Okay.
It's just a solid 3 for me. It was a 3. It was a 3.5 until the end. I'm gonna
Okay.
say.
Like the end, like the aftermatch, or the end of the match?
The aftermatch. That's what did it for me. For
Oh, so you're saying that feels abrupt?
yeah, they was just like, oh, it's like, oh.
So what? So what? Sorry,
But
I
not
got
the
a
finish
little
of the match, the aftermatch beatdown.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, if you have a number, can you got his number? Damone, do you have a number?
I do. It's
Yeah, you
gonna
go
be
first.
it's gonna be a 3.25. So I have a couple issues. So
Sure.
was the ref was up when he hit the low blow, wasn't he?
Yeah.
But did he see it?
So
We didn't see it.
How did he not see it? There's no like, is he blind?
It was like a covert, like he
Yes,
ducked
they have a
it and like
blind
his
Have
yeah.
you watched wrestling before?
I've watched wrestling before, but like none of your setup told me that he wouldn't have seen it. So it was
Okay.
the way you presented it. It's just he hits a low blow and the ref doesn't do anything.
It's quick. It's quick.
It's
He
like a
ducks
nut
under and hits
tap.
him with he ducks
A
under
nut.
a spinning kick and he hits him while he's on the way down.
It's not like a.
Well, the
he
ref
doesn't
would still
fucking-
see it, but
Okay.
He doesn't fucking
Um,
Mortal Kombat uppercut him.
also, who did Daniel Bryan face last time?
Dean Malone.
Pac.
No, Pac.
Was it Pac?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, because I felt like you guys did I'm the best high flyer, I'm the best grappler stick before.
I mean, that's been the cruiserweight division story. Is
I mean,
who's the best in the world?
Yeah.
This is definitely the more like we're a sport-based company, but this is the ultra sport-based division. Like,
Okay. I also think the wrong person won. I think Chris Bay should have won. I feel like Daniel Bryan's been the champion like long enough, and with like and you also had him tap out, so he really doesn't have any like reason outside of he beat him up to get a like rematch or anything. Which I guess it's wrestling, so it's enough. But you had him tap out clean. He cheated and he still lost. So I feel like you did more damage to Chris Bay when you could have made Chris Bay a star by having him win.
I wish I could explain. I wish it would matter if I explained the thought process going forward. Like,
You
because
can.
There is no going forward.
Well, you
I understand.
but
You can explain it if you
So-
want, but remember, I got dinged before for explaining future shit.
Yeah,
So-
watch. Have you ever seen me explain things before?
I mean, what do you think,
I
Charles?
would.
You might as well do it. Like I said,
Like,
this is the last review. You might as well say what's on your mind. This is it.
go ahead. Do it.
So the
yeah.
idea is that Daniel Bryan gets injured here and has to vacate the championship. Like, he gets injured, he can't defend his championship, and ultimately Chris Bay is going to end up winning and
Being a
dominating
paper
the
champion.
division.
that's essentially, yeah. I feel like you need to stop explaining
You
it
made
Yeah,
it worse.
Stop it. Yeah, you just made it worse.
because
Stop.
you did just make it a
Yeah,
lot worse.
it's a straight 3 now. It's a
Yeah,
straight.
Travis, you should have told me to shut the fuck up.
I honestly, I didn't know what was going to come next. I didn't know what. I didn't book that spot, so I didn't know what the. In my mind, what was
Team
happening was they were
chemistry
going to
thought.
go to like a no holds barred match, but that's fine.
I don't make decisions without Kenny's approval regarding the future. So,
I would say Mona and I have talked about future
Wow.
as
Yeah.
well.
Stir that motherfucker.
Okay.
we got a crawfish boil going on here.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a straight 3 now.
So
You can't
I will say
retroactively
this.
change it.
I'm gonna be positive before I'm negative. You had the makings of an easy 5. I'm gonna
True.
say that to start.
I wanted this to
Because-
be a 5.
Agreed.
You took that repetitive storyline of I'm the best. You know I hate that storyline because it should
Yeah,
be
but
deeper than
that's.
that.
I mean,
But-
it makes sense for him because his whole thing is.
Yeah, I know. But here's where I will give him credit. He added something to that, which is what you're supposed to do.
The
Chris
Bree stuff.
Bay's promos, aside from that chump line that was ass, other than that, everything else in those promos was brilliant. You made it start with the sport as it's supposed to, and then get personal and move into other territory. Talk that shit. Advance that feud. Give them a reason to punch each other in the face other than money and fake belts.
Well, he started talking shit about his wife. so-
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
And daughter.
I'm saying what he did right first.
Gotta
I like
soften
that.
up.
Yeah, I also like Chris Bay going insane as the weeks go on. Here are my issues. I agree with everything Damone said. Also, I felt like it was a little bit too technical in the beginning. For all that shit talked, I felt like there should have been some more hands thrown in the beginning of the match because of what was said. And I've been cooked for that as well. Where you got two like good wrestlers and you want to make them just do cool shit, but also we got them talking some real fucking shit to each other.
That's
They got to throw hands to start the match. I hate putting myself in that corner, but I've been there. AJ and Sean. So I have to ding other people for it. The storyline is repeated, though. It is the same as the Dean Malenko storyline and the Pac storyline. And it is the fourth show. Daniel Bryan needed to lose here. This was where he gives it up. He creates a star. Chris Bay should not be losing and definitely not fucking tapping out. I really didn't like that.
I don't know why there's
and
such a
I
dirty
really
look on
hated
tapping out. Like,
because
anybody can get tapped
is
out.
giving up. It is
It's
the
the
worst
most
way to lose.
insulting way to lose.
And it's a fake sport. In a real sport, you're doing it so you don't fucking pass out and die. I get that. But in a fake sport, it basically means you don't have the willpower to continue.
No, you're presenting
That's
it
not
as
true.
a no.
Yeah.
That's bullshit. You're presenting
you.
it as a real sport. So
It's fucking not. No, you're not. It's fucking not.
Yes, you are.
I clearly am.
Kayfabe died in 1993. Nobody's fucking convinced. You're telling a story on TV, and what you're telling me about making a guy tap out instead of get knocked out, pass out, or pinned is that he doesn't have the willpower to keep going.
It's
Because
fair.
we've seen John Cena use willpower to get out of fucking anything.
That's what
Like,
makes him
Has
special.
John Cena
Stupid.
ever submitted?
Like,
I don't
twice.
think so.
They probably would have him pass out before
He's
submit.
submitted to actually Kurt Angle, I think.
I think
But
he
it
did
was
when he
when
was
he
a
first
heel
started.
rap, when he was a
no,
rapper.
I'm saying,
so.
yeah, I'm saying the never give up Cena. Did he ever submit? Because that
Well,
goes against
no,
his
because
character.
he never gives up.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
goes against his character.
Yeah. But anyways, I don't think it makes Chris Bay look good. And your plan to make him a paper champion. NXT's done that with the women's title so many times, like post Asuka being an example and post Becky on Raw. I hate when you have a person lose in the championship match and then the champion has to go away and then that person gets the title, because it just means, oh, they couldn't beat that person, so they just get a consolation prize. They're a paper champion. I hate that. Like, I hated Ember Moon's reign after Asuka. I hated Asuka's reign after Becky for that reason.
You don't like Asuka.
No,
I don't, but I hated that she was
So-
given a fucking title after Becky left and didn't beat Becky for the title. So, anyways, that's other storylines. I'm going to give you a 3.5. I still think there was enough
Thank you.
good to overcome some of the dings that Kenny and Damone gave you. As much as I want to ding you bad, there was still enough good there for me to give you that extra 50 cents.
John.
What was it again? What was your number again?
John.
3.5.
You
And then
wanna
Damone,
ding
you
us?
gave it a 3. Okay.
But yeah, there was enough good there to redeem it, but
Yeah,
it should have been a
three.
5. It should have been a 5, but you fucked up on quite a few places.
Push Chris Bay. Push Chris Bay.
I agree that Chris Bay should have won. I liked the promos you had, Chris Bay talking that shit. I felt like Daniel Bryan came off as a bitch. Personally, I felt like he got bitched out. I didn't like that Chris Bay didn't win. I'm gonna go. All right, what was the rating so far?
3.5.
Okay.
And then 2 5s from us.
Fucking dorks. Ding him for that.
Fuck you, John. You just want to
Um,
ding us. Ding, ding.
I did like you brought the real life element into it. I felt like that gave it something. I'm gonna go 3.75.
Thank you, Mike. A man of class. All right.
All right.
Yeah, it's still me.
Okay.
Okay. Pandemonium breaks out. The pandemonium breaks out in the middle of Eric Bischoff's office as members of the AWC Women's Division flood in, demanding their opportunity for a title shot. We can see the lines being drawn between the heels and faces. Bischoff loses it with all the shouting and yelling in his office. He directs the women to the ring where they can settle their difference in an 8-woman tag match. The match takes place, but it does not take long before the match erupts, and the 8 women are fighting all over the arena. Becky Lynch and Alexa fight their way out in the crowd. Mickey James and Bayley fight on top of the announcer's table. Trish Stratus and Victoria fight up the ramp toward the stage, and Naomi and Asuka fight in the ring. Bischoff steps out onto the ramp and attempts to regain control, but the women are not listening to him. Officials and security try to break up the fighting, but the competitors just start fighting with security and referees. Even Bischoff gets sucker punched in when he gets too close to Victoria and Trish. He loses it on the microphone, calling for more security to come out and get this under control. Security is finally able to separate the fighters after several near breakups. Bischoff is nursing his jaw after getting rocked. He demands that each of the fighters be arrested, and this only infuriates the women again, and they start trying to fight. Stephanie McMahon steps out from the curtain with more security guards to help restore the order. Whoa, Eric. We can't have half of our roster locked in jail, all because you couldn't get things under control. Now, ladies, do you want to spend the night in jail, or would you like to settle this like we do here in AWC, in the ring? And Eric says, in the ring, I tried that, you moron. These women deserve to tear each other apart in the most violent and brutal match ever conceived in Alpha Wrestling Championship. And as an incentive for you to destroy one another, the winning team will face off to determine the new #1 contender for the AWC Women's Champion. We see segments where each team of fighters try to get along with one another, but they each have their suspicions and don't trust each other. Ultimately, they come together and agree through War Games to get through War Games together and fight over the #1 contender spot after. So it's a War Games match between AWC champion, women's champion Becky Lynch, Mickey James, Trish Stratus, and Naomi versus Bayley, Asuka, Alexa Bliss, and Victoria.
Can I ask a question about the stipulation again?
Yeah.
So you said the winning team of War Games gets to face each other for the championship.
Yeah. Well, no, for a #1 contender spot. So Becky Lynch is basically like everybody was attacking her in the build-up, so that's why she's involved in this. But she won't be. She's obviously going to have to do whatever. But it helps her odds to beat the other 4 because then she narrows it down to only 3 people instead of 4.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Got it. It makes sense. Yes.
Okay.
I'm understood. All
right. This one, I'm not gonna lie to you, is a little bit. It's not long, but I have to go spot for spot because I don't know how to do this any other way. So the match starts with Trish and Asuka. Asuka immediately starts laying into Trish with punches and kicks, and then grabs her by her hair and does a hair pull whip, throwing her to the mat. As Trish goes to try to work back to her feet, Asuka locks in a multi-clinch and just starts kneeing her repeatedly in the head, just till Trish just crumbles in a heap. Asuka locks in an ankle lock onto Trish Stratus, and Trish is just writhing in pain on the mat. She ends up working her way to her feet and is hopping on one leg, and Asuka pulls her in with the ankle and hits a German suplex into the structure. She then drags Trish Stratus up to the onto the turnbuckle. I'm sorry, and puts her up onto the top rope. Asuka climbs up and sits in the corner of the war game structure, and pulls Trish Stratus up there with her. and hits a superplex off of the war game structure, just trying to kill Trish. Both women are laying on the ground as the buzzer goes off, and Bayley is released from the holding cell. Bayley runs to the ring, and Asuka has worked her way back to her feet at this point. She picks up Trish and hits a double knee face breaker to Trish, and then Bayley catches Trish on the rebound with a Bayley to belly. The two women start beating Trish down, punches and kicks. Just double teaming her. But finally, Trish is able to start fighting back, and it hits her signature, the fire punch combo that she does, where she just throws repeated right hands to both women. She grabs Bayley in a headlock and then jumps up and gets Asuka in a head scissors and does the tilting where she does the two Pearson takedown. She grabs Asuka, throws Asuka into one corner, throws Bayley into the opposite corner, and then runs back and forth, hitting Stratus splashes to both of them. The buzzer sounds, and Mickie James enters the match. Mickie James and Trish Stratus have Asuka in the center of the ring, and they hit a Mick kick, chick kick combo to Asuka. Trish Stratus then hits a flying clothesline to Asuka. As Asuka tries to get back to her feet, she gets hit with a Thez press, which, by the way, Trish Stratus calls the Thez press Air Canada, and that pissed me off. I found that out. I wanted to let everybody know that. Trish Stratus now is the one that drags Asuka's body to the corner and hoists her up onto the top rope. Trish climbs up to the top of the structure and reaches down and pulls Asuka up by her hair and locks in a sleeper hold, hanging her from the top of the structure in the sleeper hold. Bayley is back to her feet now and hits a jumping clothesline to Mickie James. And the buzzer sounds, and Victoria enters the match. She runs in and immediately hits a super kick to Mickie James, followed by a snap suplex. Trish Stratus is back on the ground now, and Bayley hits her with a springboard diving back elbow corkscrew. That was a mouthful. To Trish. Victoria hits a standing moonsault onto Mickie James and then locks in the spider web, which is the octopus hold. Trish Stratus jumps to in the middle of the ropes onto the cage and climbs up the cage about halfway and hits a diving crossbody onto Bayley. Victoria steps between the two rings and does a slingshot somersault leg drop onto Mickie James. The buzzer sounds, and Naomi is now into the match. She hits the ring and immediately hits the flashing lights, alternating kicks into a drop kick to Victoria. Trish and Asuka are in the middle of each of them on one side of in different rings, but where they meet, and they're just trading punches back and forth. And Naomi runs and does a springboard sunset flip to Asuka, and simultaneously Bayley's running from the opposite side and hits Trish with the same sunset flip. The two women stand up and see each other. They go to the spot where they're now trading punches in the middle of the ring. Bayley's able to get the upper hand. She steps up onto the middle rope, grabs Naomi by the waist, and does a springboard German suplex from one ring to the other. Bayley picks up Naomi and goes to the corner and climbs herself up to the top of the top corner and hits a Bayley plex into the corner of the structure to Naomi. So Naomi just hits the corner and then falls down to the side, the ring side. The buzzer sounds, and Alexa Bliss is now in the match. She runs down. Trish Stratus immediately intercepts Bliss and hits her with a spine buster. On the other side of the ring, Victoria has picked up Naomi's lifeless body and hits her with a choke bomb. But Trish Stratus has jumped into that ring and hit Victoria with a diving bulldog. Mickie James is back to her feet and hits a Stratusfaction to Bayley. and then follows up with an implant DDT to Alexa Bliss. Naomi hits a split leg moonsault right onto Bailey, and then follows up with an enziguri to Asuka. Shit, my bad. Victoria hits a Widow's Peak to Mickie James, and now the buzzer sounds and Becky Lynch has entered the match. The match can officially begin. Becky hits the ring and hits a leg lariat immediately to Victoria, followed by a double jump springboard leg drop to Bailey, and then locks in a hammerlock inverted DDT to Asuka. She goes to Alexa Bliss, but Alexa grabs her by the throat and hits a chokehold STO, followed by the blissful curb stomps, which where she same thing as the Chris Bay move I said earlier, but she stands there and she just repeatedly just stomps your head back and forth while she stands on the nape of your neck. Becky Lynch is rolling on the ground, and then Bliss hits insult to injury, which is the knee drop, and then followed by the moonsault. She then picks up Becky Lynch and hits a DDT. Victoria has climbed the ropes now, but Trish Stratus runs up the ropes, grabs her into a headlock, and does a Stratusfaction off the cage, off of the top rope to the ring. Asuka immediately grabs Trish and pulls her up, and then hits her with a powerbomb. Everybody's kind of congealed in one ring at this point, and Naomi has climbed to the top of the cage and hits a diving crossbody onto everyone. Becky is the first person to get back to her feet. She hits a man slam onto Bailey, followed by a flying firearm to Alexa. She then hits the Bexplex to Asuka. But Victoria stops her before she can hit her, and she gets hit with the Black Widow. Excuse me, sorry. Then Alexa Bliss hits Becky with the Sister Abigail. Trish Stratus hits Victoria with a shit kick as Alexa Bliss is climbing the structure, looking like she's signaling that she's going to go for Twisted Bliss. But Trish Stratus runs up and hits the stratosphere off the top of the War Game structure onto Alexa Bliss. She's able to work herself back to her feet and locks in the sharpshooter onto Alexa Bliss. And Alexa's just writhing in pain. And Becky Lynch runs over and locks on the disarmor to Alexa Bliss right at the last second. And Alexa taps out.
What team won?
The baby faces. Becky, Naomi, Trish,
I give it 5.
and Mickie James.
I give it a 5. Shut the hell up, Keith.
Shut up, Keith. I guess I'll go first this time. So it's fucking like I understand it. So just to clarify, so
Sure.
they win this match. Those 4 won this match, and then they have another match to determine who's gonna face
Becky.
Becky.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So the benefit
also
Becky
it's-
gets is 3 people going for
Yeah.
instead of 4 now.
Yeah. Yeah, and also it's something I forgot to say at the end is like after like the structure's getting raised and they're all like celebrating everything, Becky's holding up her title and her and Trish kind of come face to face and they're looking at like she's looking at her like that's gonna be my belt. So it kind of hints that Trish is gonna be the one. Because
So
also
then-
you got the double tap out because it was Trish's win basically. But Becky just came in there and locked in the disarmor at the last second.
So it's gonna be Trish against Becky.
Maybe.
That's what it's hinted at. It's hinted at. You don't know what it's gonna be.
Well, you hinted. You basically gave it a fucking way.
Not really.
Not really.
Okay, so
Anything can happen.
Okay,
I can have
so-
Trish Stratus could break her leg tonight.
Anything could happen.
so they win this match, and then they have another match.
Yes, this happens
To
all the time.
to determine-
This is like Damon's first time watching wrestling.
I'm
These
just
are
making,
wrestling tropes
no,
that
I'm
happen
making
all the
sure.
time.
Yeah,
no,
I'm just making sure.
no, Travis, say normal. Wait,
Right.
We'll get to
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
Just to make sure. So they have this War Games.
Yes.
Then they have the 4-way match, and then there's another match.
No, it's a triple threat.
The triple threat.
Yeah, and then
And
they face
then-
Becky.
it's fucking convoluted.
Okay.
It's super convoluted, and like if I was in watching this, it'd be like, why do I really care about this match? I might as well just wait till we get to the triple or the fatal 4-way that's gonna happen. It feels like you did this match because you wanted to do War Games, but it didn't need to be War Games. Like I didn't need. It feels force fed into like a War Games match when it shouldn't be. I would honestly rather you just be like, we're going to use the War Games structure, but it's an 8-person match. I would have rather you have done that and they all fight each other, winner gets the title. I would have, or even if you did 7.
I like that idea, but I don't believe that idea would have been accepted. But I do like your idea.
I would have liked that better than what you did because it just feels forced.
Okay.
The ideas feel super convoluted. I also hate that you did the top of the cage catch spot. Like she dives off and they all catch her.
I mean, you gotta expect that when it's a cage.
I mean,
match.
that makes sense for Damone to hate that though. Like,
Travis came with the flow chart this week. He came with the flow chart.
I don't have a number though. That was I'm gonna call it John.
Travis, this
John
did
did
you
it
first. Do you have a flow chart?
John
I
did it
do.
first.
You do?
I do.
Can I see it?
No.
Then you don't have a flow chart.
John did it first.
I do have a flow chart. You just don't need to see it.
Well,
John,
I
tell
showed
him where
you
it
on
started.
mine.
Travis,
John, tell him where it started. Pull your flow chart out.
Travis,
Travis,
this is for a stipend. Show the flow chart or you're full of shit.
Travis is looking for a
All right,
flow
I'm full of
chart
shit.
app.
I don't have one.
If you have a flow chart, I'll give you a 5.
I'll draw one right now.
So, Damone, do you have a number?
I don't have a number. I need
Okay,
to pull a John.
Damone had a lot of the same thoughts as I did. That build was so fucking weird. And honestly, they're going through so much just for a chance. This is like working on an oil rig for a fucking Chili's gift card. This is so much work for so little reward. Why the hell would I go through War Games just to be a number 4 contender? Maybe. Like, why would I do that? You don't
you're not
get
a number
paid enough.
4
They
contender.
don't get
You're
health
tied for
insurance.
first.
Also, I just thought of something. Why doesn't Becky just not do this match? Let them have the fatal 4-way. She's only facing one person, no matter what.
Because she wants to fight them all.
Here's the thing, though.
It was all
Imagine
fighting.
going through all this, right? You going through the War Games match, then the fatal 4-way match, then you finally get your shot. You win. Let's say you win. You went through all that. The next person just says, "I want to fight you." And that's it. Like, they get there one-on-one. It's like, bro, you didn't go through what I went through.
That's like Browns fans before Baker and Browns fans after Baker.
I get mine though. I'll get mine though. I like the build. It was a weird build, but I did like it. I messed with it.
Thank you, Kenny.
Story. So I mean, I gave you a 4.5.
Thank you.
That's where I'm at.
Well, there we go, Kenny.
That's gonna be the peak.
I'm gonna give you a 4.51 for your secretary glasses you got on right now. So you're gonna get you get a penny for your
Those
secretary.
are nice glasses. Those are nice glasses.
Thank you, John. You're the only one that knows fashion.
I like the white frames and the shape.
Thank you.
I also don't like the ending with like Trish basically being the foregone conclusion of that's predictable, inevitable. Don't love that. Gotta throw in Asuka tax.
That is true. He hates Asuka just as much as he hates Brock.
And
I think it's. I thought it was dumb when Mike did it. I thought it was dumb when John did it. I think it's dumb in general.
I agree. I don't do it.
People like
I'm
to
not
flip
gonna
flop
attack
on whether they're gonna do that or not, depending on who they're bitching at.
I don't do that.
I don't like it.
I don't do it. So
I'll let you have your fatty matches and everything.
I mean, people-
It's a good story.
it's a 1 cent tax to offset Kenny's 1 cent
Damn
stipend.
it.
So honestly, I thought this was pretty mid. I thought it had a lot of issues. I'm gonna give this a $2.99. It would have been a 3, but I took the 1 cent off.
Okay.
Mike? Damone, do you have a number?
I want to hear Mike's number.
Yeah, it is pretty different from me and Kenny. We gave a wider
Yeah,
range.
you didn't help at all with the number.
I like. So as far as the build, the only thing I liked about the build, to me personally, was Bischoff and Stephanie going back and forth, and I felt like that was it. I feel like that was the whole build, like them talking shit to
That was
each
a
other.
footnote. I didn't remember
That one line each that they had. What did Bischoff call
The cameos.
Stephanie? Stupid moron. I like that because I can imagine him doing that. Other than that, it felt pretty forgettable to me.
Is it?
What?
Nothing.
Don't do
I'm
this.
sorry.
Shut up.
I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna go with straight 3.
Take off that 1 cent.
It was just pretty mid,
Stratosphere off.
and it was very it's just very forgettable.
All for a Chili's gift card.
I mean, and that's the thing is
John, you've
they're
said
right.
you do a lot for
It's a
Chili's
chance.
gift card.
No,
It's a
Applebee's
chance-
I do a lot, not Chili's. Fuck Chili's.
Applebee's. You're a cheap whore.
I love Applebee's. I love Applebee's. Fuck Chili's.
It's just a chance for a chance, and that feels weird. So
Isn't
it's
that
a
all we ever
chance.
need
So
is
it's a
of
chance, but it's a chance to the number 1 contendership match, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
So
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
and this would have felt better if it was somehow for the number 1 contendership.
But it's like a qualifier for a tournament or a
Right, but
qualifier
it's-
for a Money in the Bank. Like you get.
I
A chance to
understand that.
compete.
But War
I agree
Games
with you,
should be for something bigger.
Okay.
right. I
That's
feel
fair.
like War Games. I feel like the War Games match should be a
Either personal or for some belts.
big, like a big footnote or an ending to something.
That's fair.
Not
I think-
not the beginning of maybe you get a chance.
That's fair, and you guys might be right when you guys said last week or 2 weeks ago. I'm sorry, when you told John and Kenny that 2 might be the perfect number for matches like this, because I definitely feel like this was the weakest of the 3 War Games, and you guys might be right.
I personally,
Yeah, everybody was saying we should have done a third. I was like, what fucking crack are you smoking? Like,
I
Yeah.
could see why you'd want to do multiple War Games matches for your
we
pay per
paid for
view.
the structure to be up. We're gonna use it.
Personally, I'm a fan of the 1 match finale of
I
something
like
like this.
I like 2 just because it does
Yeah,
give
that's
men
the-
and women a chance, but like any more than that, it's too much.
Well, that's the thing. If we cut one, it would be this one, so it wouldn't be men and women. It would just be men and men.
Unless you could have, instead of the qualifying match, you could have had the number 1 contender match, and not
So-
in a War Games.
Oh no, yeah, I see what you guys
Could have
are
given
saying.
this War Games on free TV for your loving fans, and then have
Could have
it
you
on
could have.
contender.
You're not wrong. You could have had it even on free TV as a build to War Games.
This is AWC, not WCW.
Well,
That's
WCW
why-
got higher ratings, motherfucker. So-
I still gotta give mine. So the thing that's really sticking with me is I don't fucking know why Becky would even go through this. Besides, like, she's a fighting champion.
That's it.
She's not even
It's
defending
a
her belt
fight.
in this, though. There's no point.
Right. She
Her
might as well
name
just
is
skip
Becky,
this,
and
let
she
them
likes to
fight
fight.
each other. It's because there's another match between.
It's
them
because we have.
and
It's
her.
because we have Finley on the roster, and she doesn't want to disappoint Finley.
No, but there's a time slot. That's all that was. There's a time slot. You have to fill it, Becky.
She said, "Wait, look. She wasn't supposed to be in there, and she said, "Look, Finley, put me in, coach. Put me in. Put me in the War Games."
Ugh.
That's really
Can't take a
sticking with
quarter
me.
off of that.
That's really
you
sticking
you
with
gained
me.
a quarter from me for that.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
You lost it from him, but you got one from me.
No, I was telling you to get rid of a quarter on
I
your
just gave one.
score.
Yeah.
But if you're giving him a quarter, take away mine.
No.
I'm gonna give it a 2.75.
Okay, Damone did it for me.
Let's go. Let's go.
Wow.
The story is so broken, in my opinion, and just
Kenny is cheering the bad reviews for a match he liked.
right.
I-
Kenny
I'm just-
gave it a 4.
Kenny just likes
I'm just over here
conflict.
I'm just over here stirring the pot. That's all I'm doing.
Kenny
Yeah.
is chaotic neutral. Like he just does whatever.
I liked most of your spots, but the story was so broken. It brought everything down.
This is the exact opposite of last week. Or no, it's not. No, it's about the same thing. It's about the
Ring,
same
ding,
thing.
ding, 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 ding.
I think you've been around three. No, I mean you've been around threes. I feel like this whole time.
Yeah,
Oh,
no, I mean,
before this match?
Yeah. Anyway, what's your
it was all 3.5s.
We're
3.5s and
mid.
4.75s, and then this one
Yeah.
was a 4.5.
I mean, your big pay per view was last pay per view, right? That was your
Yeah.
Mania. So
Yeah.
This is like your backlash, bro. This is.
No, this is Survivor Series.
this is
Survivor
our
Series.
roadblock.
It feels like a backlash.
SummerSlam.
All right, let's. Did everybody rate it then?
Yep.
Yeah, everybody
All
rated.
right, let's get on to the next match. Is it Keith?
Nope, it's me. I'll tell you when to switch.
Keith's just getting paid to do fucking nothing. He's
Right?
like me
What
on
is he
fall
even
break
here
right now.
You guys mind your business.
Yeah.
We've got a plan.
Don't feel like it.
What is that? So the week leading to TakeOver, in a backstage interview released on AWC social media, the Power announced that they will host a special segment on AWC Supreme where they will announce the AWC Power rankings, where they will rank and select their next challengers. Biggie and Kofi dance and twerk their way to the ring dressed in suit and shorts combo fits, complete with bow ties, cut off sleeves, and an award show aesthetic.
So were
we
they
have-
working on the moves, or they're just going all the way?
What?
To the ring like
Yep.
that? That is disgusting.
But I totally see them doing that.
They also have bow ties that are like on strings that they're putting onto the people in the front rows
Oh yeah.
as they go down they're giving out free bow
merchandise,
ties. They say, we have beaten every tag team there is in AWC. There's nobody left to challenge your boys, the Power. And since we have beaten all of our competition and we have been given authority to rank each tag team and determine who deserves a shot at our AWC Tag Team Championships. So would you know who? And the crowd chants, who we have selected as our next. And before they can even announce number 10 on their list, the Power gets cut off by every AWC tag team coming out one by one to plead their case and challenge their teams. Hold on, I skipped something.
So like they got
there
tag
we are,
teams just
no,
coming out the
here we are,
woodworks, just like
Yeah,
everybody
like one will
comes
come
out.
out and cut a little promo of why they deserve it, and then another one will come out and say they don't deserve it, we deserve it for this reason. So this leads to each team coming out one by one to stake their claims to the title. Each team walks down the ramp and surround the ring. After the last team comes out and Biggie and Kofi calls for everyone's mic to be cut, they say they have made their decision on who will be given the shot. And as they go to announce their decision, Enzo and Cass's music hits and the two men step out and strut their way down the ramp, flaming each tag team individually on their way down. And then finally they turn their attention to the tag team champions. So my name is Enzo Amore, and I'm a certified G and a bona fide stud, and you can't teach that. And this right here is Big Cass, and he's 7 feet tall, and you can't teach that. Bada boom. Realest guys in the room. How you doing? I am Smack Talker Skywalker, and I got a mic saber for a couple haters.
Travis, is this their debut?
Yes.
yes.
See, I was telling Big Cass, I was telling him backstage, how you doing? I said, Cass, if we had a dime for every competent tag team out there right now, we'd have we'd have 0 dimes. Look at these fools. He walks up to Super Crazy and Bam Bam Bigelow. Somebody call him DreamWorks because Shrek and Donkey escaped the studio. How you doing? Your careers are like your outfits, up in flames. How you doing? Bam Bam, you need to cut some weight, and I'm not talking about Super Crazy. How you doing? Walks up to Cesaro and Tyson Kidd after that. What do we got here? Natty's husband and Sloth from the Goonies. If you guys had half the personality you got in wrestling skills, you might be worth something. Funny, you two flank future Hall of Famers when only rings you see is the one Zoe and Cass pin you to. How you doing?
This is like Michael Scott's Boom Roasted.
He walks up to the Hardy Boys. He says, "Now look here, 2 men in they mid-40s still in their scene phase. Rainbow Bright and her less important sister Brunette Doll. I'd make a joke about you being middle-aged G-boys addicted to TikTok, but the addiction line might hit a little too close to home. How you doing? Speaking of TikTok, Hardy girls, the clock has run out. Time is up. Go home and enjoy retirement. Zoe and Cass will take it from here."
How you doing?
He goes up to Christian Cage and Tyson Tomko. "Mr. Money in the Bank, Captain Charisma, Christian Cage. I guess AWC couldn't afford Edge, so they settled for you. And who's your friend here? Wait a minute. I recognize you. You stormed the Capitol in January, didn't you?"
All right. I need
That's
you to stop. I need you to stop right now. I'm rating it right now. Right. This is on. Give it a 5. This is a 5. I'm not changing that rating
He's
unless they lose.
Christian, you always got your hand over your eyes like you're searching for something. What are you looking for? Your breakout performance post TLC? Because so are the rest of us. How you doing? He goes up to Naito and Tajiri. "Naito, you look like a Japanese NASCAR fan, and you're flanked by skinny fat Tajiri. I'm trying to figure out what's worse, your haircuts, your promos, or your loyalty to a scumbag like Bobby Heenan and JBL."
How you doing?
He then walks up to Owen Hart and Lance Storm. "These two more generic than Rice Krispies, but Owen got a schnoz like Toucan Sam. How you doing? Couple of Fruit Loops gone cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, so they think they out Tuesday slide. They about to Tuesday slide in front of Zoe and Cass in line to be #1 contenders. How you doing?" And then finally says, "Basically, I guess what we're saying is there's only one word to describe this whole division, and Cassie is gonna spell it out for you. SAWFT. Soft." Was that a good Enzo impression?
Yeah, it was.
Very
It was a
good.
really good one. Made me miss him.
It was. All right.
Yeah, like some of those roasts fell flat, but when you got to Tomko, you fucking soared that shit. Like that was fucking incredible. Like, yeah, you got me.
Enzo spits his venom, roasting Biggie and Kofi, and challenged them to a tag team title match at TakeOver. The champions fire back a few good shots at ENC and accept their challenge. The Power hold their titles in the face of Enzo and Cass snatches their titles out of their hands, and the Power start to step at them. Whoa, easy, fellas. My associate here just wanted a closer look-see. Here, Big Cass, give these schmucks their gold back. We'll have plenty of time to get real familiar with those titles after TakeOver this Sunday. Cass tosses the titles back to Biggie and Kofi. "You two jabronis better not stay up playing too late playing video games and oiling your chest there, Mid-E. Because this Sunday, Big G and Big Cass are coming for you, so protect your neck, because Cass and Enzo ain't nothing to fuck with." Two teams jaw jacket and stare at each other down as Supreme goes to commercial. Oh my god. My throat hurts from that doing that voice.
I was gonna say, how you doing? How you doing?
So the match starts with Kofi and Enzo. Enzo opens up with the realist combination, which is his punch combination that he does, followed by an inverted stomp facebuster, which is puts his foot on your face and then pulls you down. When he does that, Woods screams from the outside, "That's my move! That's my move!" That's what Woods uses as his finish too. Kofi rolls over and immediately tags in Big E. Big E comes in and hits a belly to booty to Enzo. He then picks him up off the ground and hits a gorilla press slam. And then picks him up and does the stretch muffler before licking his hand and smacking Enzo in the chest. He takes Enzo over and takes him back to the corner, into Power's corner. Tag to Kofi. They do the unicorn stampede, tagging in and out. Kofi ends up tagging Big E back in, and they hit a double Russian leg sweep followed by simultaneous elbow drop from Kofi and a knee drop from Big E. Big E Irish whips Enzo and then hits him with a body press. Big E tags Kofi back in, and he scoop slams Kofi onto Enzo. Enzo hits the two-handed chops followed by a Hurricane Rana into the corner. He then runs up and hits the Karanko Buster. Kofi tags in Big E, and they hit Afternoon Delight, which is the power bomb with the diving foot, double foot stomp. They're like gyrating and celebrating and whatnot. but when he goes to grab Big E, Enzo sneakily hits a low blow on him and hits him with a baseball punch.
The referee didn't see it, so
The referee
just
did
so you
not
know.
see it. It's blocked by Kofi gyrating.
Yep, he was twerking, and the referee was distracted.
He hits him with the baseball punch, followed by an enziguri, and then he hits a tag from Enzo to Cass. Cass comes in and hits a big boot, followed by a jumping elbow drop to Big E. Kofi and Xavier Woods pull Big E out of the ring, and Big Cass grabs Enzo and hits the rocket launcher, throws him out onto them. Cass immediately runs back and grabs the tag rope so that he can tag back in. Big E rolls into the ring, and Enzo goes to hit a running cross body, but gets caught by Big E, and Big E throws him on his shoulder and immediately hits a big ending. He goes for the pin, but Big Cass breaks up the pin. Big E tags into Kofi, and then Enzo tags into Cass at the same time. Kofi runs up and jumps into the air and gets caught in the air, so he's like standing straight up on Cass, and he's hitting the 10 mounted punches on the Cass standing in the middle of the ring. But Cass is able to throw him up and then hit a release powerbomb onto Kofi. He picks him up and hits him with a high knee. Then he throws him into his corner and hits a stinger splash. He then tags Cass tags Enzo. Yeah, sorry. And Enzo hits a diving crossbody. Kofi starts to work his way back, fighting back. He then hits a flying forearm smash onto Enzo, followed by a jumping back elbow, and then he hits a monkey flip to send Enzo back into their half of the ring. Kofi tags in Big E, and Big E throws him for an aided crossbody. He then picks up Enzo and body slams him, and then runs back and hits a jumping splash. Big E tags in Kofi, and he hits an aided slingshot senton. Kofi hits a boom drop and goes for the pin. Enzo's able to kick out right at the last second. Hot tag from Enzo to Cass. Big boot to Big E on the apron, and then a sit-out swing side slam for the pin and the win. Enzo and Cass are your new tag team champions.
Bada boom, realest champs in the room.
How you doing?
All right,
Mike?
so I did give it a 5. I'm glad that Enzo and Cass won. So everything happened at the pay-per-view? Is that
No.
what I'm understanding? Or
No,
It happened the week before.
So
Because they've beaten everybody in the division, and Enzo and Cass debuted.
Now the only thing I have with that is I feel like Enzo and Cass came out, did their thing, right? Which is great. I loved it. But New Day did,
Who?
or not the Power,
The power.
did nothing.
It's a new name. Yes, it is.
I just feel like they did nothing. They were just there. They felt after all this domination and everything, they just there was no back and I would have liked more of a back and forth between them. There was no back and forth. It was just Enzo and well, that's the thing. You just did the Enzo and Cass, and you really just did Enzo. But
I mean, that's
Well,
Enzo.
I
and
know,
Cass.
I know, I got
cares
it.
about. No one
But
cares about Cass.
we got
Yeah.
really, other than that little bit for the Power saying that they, they're the champions and they beat everybody and whoever basically gave an open challenge. That was it. No back and forth between Enzo and Cass. Now, so the Enzo promo was definitely a 5. I loved it. And I'm glad they won, but overall, I am going to have to take my rating down to a 4.5.
Remember when Mike said
Right.
this is a 5 and I'm not changing it no matter
I remember
what?
that.
I
was
know,
there.
but I
He
was
said,
really
I'm
hoping-
only going to change it if they lose.
Yeah.
I was really hoping that I could have kept that.
What did you expect? So
I just-
it's a.
I just wish
It was implied in the story that there was a back and forth. We literally said that. We just didn't write the actual word for word promo.
I think he
You're gonna
wanted a
do
word.
the whole build in 1 week, though. You gotta write
right, and that build
That's
in
fine,
1
that's-
week.
yeah.
Like let's have some more substance for that build if you're doing 1 week. I think you could have done it at least 2 weeks out and had something that
because you zoomed far in. Like,
That's fine.
Right.
I just feel like
I
get
didn't
it.
want to change it. I promise
That's
you. But the matchup was great. The promo was the one promo was good. The ending, the right team won. I just wish there was more to it.
Okay.
For once, I agree the right team did win. Enzo and Cash should have won. I do agree with, like, I wish you had, like, because you went through the work of doing a promo on, like, Tajiri, but you didn't do it for the two people who are actually going to be having a feud. You did kind of cuck your entire tag team division.
they already lost.
But they already lost, and I'm okay with it because I was okay with it when Enzo did it to the cruiserweights. So I'm okay with that. I don't hate that part. The match itself. This is the main part with Enzo. And Kaz. Neither of them are good in ring.
Enzo's gotten better on the indies.
Also, I only use moves that they actually do. I only used about half of their moveset. Like I could have.
They got more Enzo going hard.
Yeah. Yes. They each about have like 35 to 40 moves. They just didn't use them.
Hey, Indies Enzo's like Indies Big Show.
Yeah, right.
Except real.
But I'm not going to penalize you too much for that because I think the right team won. I like the promos and stuff, so I'm going to give this one a 4.5.
Okay.
Oh.
I was going to say, I feel like this is where we all diverge from Kenny.
Yeah, Kenny about to give this a 2.
Yeah, he hates Enzo. I knew I was going to get a bad rating for this, but come on, Kenny.
All right. Here's the thing. I'm not his. Okay, I know what y'all thinking when I came. You know, I can't stand Enzo more. I think I can't. That team is fucking awful to me. But I can't fault you for that. I really can't. And so I had to give it to you for creativity. Like, you know, you had to sit there and think about the roast for each team you're going through. So I will give you credit for that. So I'm not going to do you dirty because, like I said, that's the character. I'm not going to do you dirty for that. So I'm not going to take off points because it's Enzo more. I
appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm a man of my word. I'm not going to do you dirty for that.
At least someone is.
I only text you a cent. Quit pissing.
Yes, I'm not.
No, I'm not. I'm saying being a man of your word.
So I will say
somebody said they were going to get 5 and then give it 4.5.
So I'm still different from everybody else.
Take more off, Mike.
I'm still different from everybody else because they gave you 4.5.
Because I went back on my 5.
Let's say I gave you a 5.
Let's go, Kenny. Hey. Let's fucking go.
I didn't see any outstanding negatives, anything like that. So I gave you a 5.
You know what? Give him a 5.
Hey.
Come on, Mike.
This feels like when Chuck Norris was on Dodgeball and he was like, it feels like this with Mike.
So I will say that the roasts, like, some of them weren't that great. Like, at first I was like, Travis.
Which ones did you think were bad?
Travis
I think well, they weren't bad, they were just kind of mid.
Which ones?
Like Tajiri and Super Crazy was not Tajiri Super Crazy. Bam Bam and Super Crazy was pretty mid. The Hardys was okay.
Shrek and Donkey?
That wasn't.
I thought the career up in flames was good.
I thought that was good.
But when you got to Tomko and Christian, that's when you won me.
I missed that one. I had left for a second.
I said that shit again, Travis.
Okay, I'll do that one.
It's the best part.
Mr. Money in the Bank, Captain Charisma, Christian Cage. I guess AWC couldn't afford Edge, so they settled for you. And who's your friend here? Wait a minute. I recognize you. You stormed the Capitol in January, didn't you? Christian, you always got your hand over your eyes like you're searching for something. What are you looking for? Your breakout performance post-TLC? Because so are the rest of us. How you doing?
Okay.
God, Tomko does look like a fucking Capitol rider. That's a bar. I don't love that it was zoomed into 1 week because, like, what I see, and I know I can't rate you on what you could have done, but, like, with the power rankings, you could have spent like 3 weeks of these teams like trying to compete to up themselves in the power rankings just for Enzo and Kaz to come in and steal it, and that would have been even funnier to cuck them. Like, like it would have just been that extra bit of seasoning on it.
I do have one quick question though. Before you say your rating. Did we see anything from? Like, I know you said it's their debut. Is this their
No.
debut just wrestling match, or is just like we've seen them around, they've been promoting themselves?
No.
It's the first time we've seen them. They come out to start wrestling.
They showed up and just showed out.
So they're like, who are these niggas? So they pulled up like John Cena did. Say ruthless aggression.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
But yeah, I think you could have done that with a few more weeks and give it that extra bit of seasoning. I love the mid E line; that was pretty great. I wish the New Day would have. I wish you would have written their comebacks. So
Yeah.
I felt like what you had was good, but it just could have had a little bit more.
That's fair.
I'm gonna go with the previous consensus before Damone and Kenny decided to be too nice and go the 4.5 because there was a couple of things missing, but overall it was really good. I'm not gonna say pretty good. It was really good, but it wasn't quite perfect. It just needed a few more things, a little bit pinches of salt here, and it would have been great, but it lacked just a little bit.
You can't beat that.
All right. Any final notes? Any final?
I miss
score
Enzo.
changes?
I miss Enzo too.
Mike, you sure?
I
What
don't
if Travis
fucking-
says? What
I'm
if Travis
sure.
does the Enzo promo again? What if he does the
No.
Enzo voice again?
I don't know if I can do a whole Enzo promo again.
And you can't.
I'm riding with Mike on this one. It's a 4.5.
It's
fair.
I wanted to.
It's
I
your
promise
best
you.
match so far.
Yeah, it's carrying your fucking show. Like it's still carrying.
Okay.
I'm so shocked by that because I did not think. I thought it would get
Kenny
good
was
ratings, but not like.
I thought Kenny was ready to give you a 1.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
right.
did too.
No, like I said,
The
I'm
way
not
he
gonna
went
do, I'm not
into
gonna
it,
do
too.
dirty over the character. Like I'm not gonna do dirty over the character. But if the storyline sucks, then I'm gonna give you what you deserve. But
All right.
yeah, I can't fault you for Enzo being Enzo.
Here's
Great.
our penultimate match.
It's the ultimate pen.
Yeah.
On
On an
fight for the
episode-
ultimate pen.
And it's inside of War Games. No, I'm kidding.
It's been more
On
like Squid Games.
On an episode of Baywatch, this was after Daniel Bryan was a guest. Liv Morgan and Ruby Riott are guests. The two skip down to the ring together, giggling the whole way down. Liv holds the ropes open for Ruby to step into the ring. The pair sit close together as Bay moves forward with the interview. Bay addresses how close the two appear to be. It wasn't that long ago that Ruby, you attacked Liv right here on my show. She goes, that was our dark moment of our past together. We had a misunderstanding, and I'll be the first to admit I was completely out of line. We have worked it out with one another, and Liv has forgiven me. And now we're back to being best friends. She turns to Liv, and the two smile at each other. And now that I hold the International Women's Championship, and of course, my best friend has my back, nothing can stop us from taking over and causing a riot here in AWC. Ruby stands and holds the title above her head. Liv stands up next to her, raising her hand, and Riot's music starts to play them out. Abruptly, Liv sidekicks Ruby in the mouth. Bay is losing his mind as Liv squats over Ruby on the mat. She grabs her by the hair and lifts her to her feet. Liv holds onto the hair and spits in Ruby's face. She takes Ruby by the face and throws her into the base screen monitor. Liv reaches down to pick up the championship. She slowly stands up and lifts the title above her head. Liv smirks, looks up at the title, and then down at Ruby, and Liv blows her a kiss and leaves the ring. A week later, Liv opens Supreme in the middle of the ring, surrounded by photos of her and Ruby from over the past couple weeks. Liv stands in the ring at the podium with the International Championship sitting on top. Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. That is exactly the mindset I've had when it comes to you, Ruby. You really believed I would just forgive and forget what you did to me? How you made me look like a fool? You attacked me and you broke my heart for what, Ruby? To get this? Liv holds up the International Championship. This is the only thing that matters to you. You never cared about me. You made that very clear when you attacked me. While I was sitting in the medical room being evaluated by trainers, I made a promise to myself. I promised myself that I would never let anyone treat me like that ever again. I vowed to get my revenge and take everything from you. The thing is, I had to give you everything you ever wanted before I could rip it all away. And that's what I did when I took this from you. Morgan carries the International Women's title around the ring. All of these moments where you thought that you and I were a team, moments when you thought we were friends, it was all fake. A fabrication that I created to build you up, just so I could knock you right back down where you belong. She stares into the photos and runs her nails down the picture, leaving nail marks. She takes the International Championship and destroys all the photos, whipping the title around the ring. The segment ends with Liv gaining her composure and leaving the ring. The following week, Ruby Riott returns and calls out Liv Morgan. You say you wanted to take everything from me. You talk about some master plan you designed to build me up and knock me down. You say I never cared about you or about our friendship. I was in a dark place when I did that, what I did to you. I apologize, and you said you forgave me. We were good. We were best friends together again. Liv Morgan's music plays, and she walks down to the ring holding the International Women's Championship. Oh, you were in a dark place? And that just makes everything okay, doesn't it? You just think you can just wave your dark place magic wand and make some apology, and I will make some BS apology, and I would just go back to being your little sidekick. Someone you can use to get this? Well, guess what? I'm just as much a part of you being champion as you. This title should be mine. That's why I've decided I'm just going to keep this. And she taunts Riot with the title. Riot grabs the title, and the two struggle back and forth for a moment until Morgan swings at Ruby. She dodges the attack, turns, and kicks Liv in the gut, causing her to drop the title. Riot goes to grab it, and Liv grabs her, nailing her with a backstabber. Liv laughs, scoops up the International Women. What'd you say? Liv, laugh, love. That's why I thought.
I was thinking that too.
All right, that's why I stumbled. Liv laughs, scoops. Liv laughs, scoops up the International Women's Championship, and leaves the ring. Later, we see Ruby Riott approach Eric Bischoff in his office. Ruby is nursing her back, but tells Bischoff she wants a match with Liv Morgan. Bischoff takes offense to her tone. Let me explain something to you. You are not the one who decides what happens. To be honest with you, I don't really appreciate a champion on my show leaving their title lying around for anyone to take. Maybe you should. He's cut off by Stephanie McMahon stepping in. I, however, can decide what happens on my show. That's why tonight, right here in Minneapolis, Ruby Riott will get her chance to get back at Liv Morgan. Actually, interrupts Bischoff, Liv Morgan has already informed me that she suffered quite a nasty migraine after Miss Riott's attempted assault on her. Stephanie replies, well, Miss Morgan had better get plenty of rest because she will have a match against Ruby Riott at TakeOver. Bischoff is angered by Stephanie and declares that the true International Women's Championship will be on the line. Yeah, okay. Any questions about the storyline before we go into the match? Seems like you guys have had questions every storyline, so I just want to make sure.
I'll save them.
Okay.
No, so far, so good.
Okay. So the match opens up, and Ruby Riott immediately hits multiple arm drags, just tossing Liv Morgan across the ring. She then grabs Liv Morgan by the hair and hits her with a headbutt. She goes for a schoolgirl pin immediately, but Liv Morgan kicks out of the pin. And as Ruby's trying to stand back up, Liv hits her with a mat slam, followed by a monkey flip. She has a Hurricane Rana into the turnbuckle, and then Liv runs up with a corner step up high knee, followed by a corner running hip attack, and then she's stomping on Ruby in the corner multiple times. She pulls Ruby up and goes for a high kick, but Ruby smacks her leg down and hits her with the eat the knee, which is like a high knee strike. And then hits her with a sunset flip powerbomb. Liv starts to get up to her feet, and Ruby hits a tornado DDT transition into a snap suplex, followed by a diving double knee drop from the top rope. She lifts Liv Morgan back to her feet and goes for her own roundhouse kick, the Riot kick. And Liv Morgan does the Matrix evasion where she leans all the way back into a bridge and then pops up. When she pops up, she grabs the back of her head and hits a mat slam. As Ruby starts to get up to her feet, she gets hit with a Liv kick, followed by 2 flying clotheslines and then a drop kick at the end. Liv then picks up Ruby Riott and grabs her by the back of the hair and puts her feet into the middle of her spine and falls backwards with her. So kind of like a backstabber with her feet instead of her knees. They're both kind of brawling on the ground, like trading shots with one another. Ruby gets her up and hits her with an STO. Followed by she takes her to the corner and hits her with a modified head scissors driver, so she's holding her with her feet, and then she slams her face into the middle turnbuckle.
That's such a cool move.
It really is. She then picks Liv up for a Saito suplex. Easy for me to say. Followed by a diving tornado DDT. Both women are able to get back up to their feet, and Liv hits her with a belly-to-back suplex, followed by a drop toe hold, and then a standing moonsault. Ruby Riott starts fighting back and hits her with a super kick, sending Liv Morgan to the ground. Ruby Riott climbs to the top rope and hits a frog splash for a 2 count. As Liv Morgan starts to work herself back to her knee, she gets hit with a Shining Wizard, and then she gets lifted up and then hits with a step up enziguri from Ruby Riott, followed by Tilt-A-Whirl DDT. Ruby Riott is exhausted. You can tell they're both kind of worn down and hurt. But Ruby Riott's pulling herself up on the ropes, and Liv Morgan kips up to her feet and hits a 201 face breaker, which is the code breaker from Jericho, but it's Liv's version. She goes for a pin, and right at the 2 count, Ruby kicks out, but as she kicks out, she immediately locks in a guillotine choke onto Liv, and it's looking like Liv is going to get choked out, but Liv's able to work herself to her feet with the choke still intact, holding Ruby Riott up, and Ruby drops to her feet right at the last second, and Liv hops and hits a springboard complete shot, Oblivion, which is her finish. And as she does, Ruby Riott's laying lifeless, unconscious on the ground. But instead of going for the pin, Liv Morgan locks in her own guillotine choke and chokes Ruby Riott unconscious for the win.
You mind if I go first?
Sure.
Go for it.
All right. Let me get back to where I was. All right.
I
feel like I want
Liv Morgan's
whole
finisher
shout
to
out
be
of
Live,
Liv.
Laugh, Love now.
So
It should be. Now that you mention it.
I'm just gonna. How do I want to start this off? I probably shouldn't say my first note out loud. So the Riot Squad, they've broken up, and they've reunited, and they've broken up, and they've reunited again. That's kind of yucky to me. I'll be honest.
This was
about
a
that.
false
This was-
reunite.
Yeah. It was,
So.
let me reply to what you're saying though.
Okay.
You just said they broke up and reunited 3 times. They broke up once, reunited, and then broke up. This is the second time they've broken up, but it was a false reuniting.
Okay. So, do you know who else false reunited?
No.
Sting and John Cena on Mike and Damone's show.
Fair.
You're not
So-
wrong. I was thinking the exact same thing.
I wasn't, but
I will say, Liv Morgan's promo was pretty good that you wrote. I will give you the good stuff. Aside from that, there's not many redeeming qualities.
he'll
Yeah,
give you
so
the
let me
good
a-
thing. He'll give you the good thing. He said
So-
stop. He said one
Let me ask this: who's the baby face?
Keith.
It was Ruby over the. I mean, they made
But-
up.
They
didn't
both
feel like
seem
it.
like they both seem like cunts here
Yeah,
because they both just
do.
keep fucking turning on each other. So it's like watching a TV show where every character sucks and you just want them both to lose.
Oh, so Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, basically. So
Except I like
Also,
Big Bang Theory.
if
If
Liv Morgan can fight Ruby Riott on weekly TV, she can go beat the shit out of her, steal her title, and she clearly wants to have the title, correct? Then why would she fake a migraine to get out of a title match on the fucking weekly show? She could have had the belt sooner.
Plot.
wrestling logic.
Yeah, that doesn't make a lot of sense because she clearly can fight, wants to fight, and wants the title, and could clearly not have to wait 3 days. And we all know we want our instant gratification.
Yeah, and it would have made more sense if Liv was the champion and she was just trying to avoid having to defend. But she's not even the champion.
Yeah, she clearly wants to be in that match.
Possession is 9/10 of the law. She had the belt.
Yeah.
She
Not
wants
really.
this match, though. She wants the match, but is dodging the match. So, where do I want to rate this? I got to give a number now. I've given my notes. I have not loved how this division as a whole has been booked throughout the entire process. I think it's been the weakest point of your whole show every time has been this division. Do I want to give a number now or do I want to wait?
What was your
In-
first note that you didn't want to read out loud? Did you say the N word?
curious.
Ah,
Why did you
shit.
not
This division again. You know what? I'm gonna wait on my number because I feel like I'm gonna jump the gun and be too much of a
you
dick.
give your
Go
number.
ahead, give your number.
Edging everybody.
Okay,
Give
you
your
know
number.
what? All right, they're not gonna let me get out of it. I gotta give this a 2.
Okay.
Yeah, he's not too far off where I was at. Especially for it being your co-main event, it was kind of weak in my opinion. I gave it a 2.75 because I feel like at least the co-main event of the match I'm like geeked for, and like I wasn't at all. Like I don't know. I tried to be into it, but it's just like, yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah, everything John said is right. Like, I was thinking that too. Who's the fucking baby face and who's the heel? Because they both feel like heels, and I hate both of them. Like, like Liv turned, and I'm like, okay, I don't care that you turned, but like Ruby, I guess is supposed to be the face, but she's also a cunt too. So,
We're gonna
yeah.
stop throwing
Wow,
that
dropping
Actually-
I was gonna say we're just
Actually,
like, throwing-
Like, John said it 3 times, so
Kenny-
it's ridiculous.
Cut.
Stop.
I didn't call when you're mad.
Hey Kenny, I hate to be this guy, but I just kind of collected my thoughts a bit more. I want to lower it to a 1.75.
Wow.
Because I was thinking back to some of the matches that are rated below a 2, and I thought this was at that level. And I felt like I was trying to be nice, but I hate. I know I'm going to regret this in 2 weeks. I know I am.
Stop saying I hate to do this and then doing it, because that's you don't hate to do it, you're doing it.
Yeah.
So like,
No,
But-
you could do it,
no,
but
just
hate
own
doing
your-
it.
I don't like being an asshole.
Just do what you're gonna do. Don't try to soften the blow.
yeah.
Okay,
The fuck?
fine.
Say fuck him, like I do.
Okay,
Fine, fuck this
Okay,
match. You're gonna watch.
okay, Travis, you're digging. You're digging.
That's fine. I'm just telling you, I'm not gonna give you this. I'm not gonna give you the sympathy of like, I don't want to do this to you. If you feel like we earned it 1.75, give us the 1.5. Give me a 0.5. I'm not shutting up.
And I also
Okay.
do agree. This feels like This actually does feel like a cool damn match, and it feels like a letdown as your co-main event. If this was somewhere else on the card,
This could have
would have.
been.
I
Pretty
hated
much
this at the
appreciate.
level of Sting and Cena, and probably the level you hated the crucifixion.
Fair enough.
And I feel like you've been building this whole time to it, and it feels like a dud.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you a 2.25.
Everybody's
mad
had their
dog.
dud this time around. Everybody's had their dud story.
Everybody's
man. I
treating
love it.
this better than the crucifixion, and that's gonna annoy me for the rest of my life. I'm gonna die mad about that.
I just think the in-ring match would be better than your crucifixion match. That's the difference.
Thank you.
Mike, what's up, Mike? How you feeling, Mike?
What's
Recap-
the ratings?
recap-
What are
recap-
the
recap,
ratings
yeah.
so far?
Yeah, 2.75, 2.25, 1.5.
Oh, 1.5? I thought it was 1.7.
Well, I don't know if he was being serious or not, but
1.75.
he said that when I was trying to defend myself, but or no, when I was telling him to stop trying to sugarcoat it. So I don't know if he was being serious or not.
No, you said that. You said another sugar coat. Put that 1.5.
Okay.
Okay, so there you go. I can't wait for 2 weeks.
Say the word cunt, Mike. We've all done it.
I know I'm gonna regret this in 2 weeks. I know I'm gonna regret this so fucking hard. I'm sorry, Kenny.
I'm sorry, I love you.
I don't
I had to
actually
be
do
honest.
that, though. I don't actually rate you guys based off how you rated us.
So he says.
Talk your shit, Mike. Talk your shit, Mike.
To be fair, Travis just rates everyone poorly.
Right. He's gonna rate everybody as low as he possibly can.
Yeah.
I'm feeling kind of broke. I don't get paid for it till 3 weeks from now, so I gotta make this $10 last between both shows. So
So wait, what title was that for?
The Intercontinental
Women's
International.
It's for the World Heavyweight Championship, Mike. Give him a 0.25.
So what happened to Alexa Bliss and
They're in the women's championship
Because
They
everybody
have
got crammed in.
Yeah,
so
they have-
where's
they
that
have-
match?
That was that match isn't on this
There's
card.
two separate
Right.
titles.
So
There's two
Becky
separate
Lynch
titles.
Becky Lynch is the world champion.
so
She
we're
was in
just
the War
dropping.
Games.
Wait, so we're just dropping stories now. So we're just not having people on the card.
They're all on the card. What
Oh,
are
you
talking
built
about,
up. You
Mike?
built up Becky.
Mike.
You built up
Mike.
Becky Lynch, and you built
Mike.
up Alexa Bliss. Shut the fuck up.
They're both in the card. They're both on
They're
the card.
both.
They're on the. They're on.
Who's
They're,
trying to argue? I don't understand. They're both here in the
Where?
same match.
I'll
This
tell you.
is saying stupid shit.
They were
I'm
in
confused at what
the,
point Mike's trying to make. Like, what the
Yeah,
fuck are you talking about?
Mike. They were both in the War Games match.
Why were they in the War Games match? Who's
Because-
the champ? Who's the women's? Who's the main women's champion?
Hey, Mike,
Becky.
Mike,
Becky
Mike,
Lynch.
Mike.
Which is why I gave it a bad rating.
There's
Mark,
didn't
it's
make
getting
sense.
even worse. It's just getting worse.
Keep digging.
This is what I said earlier. I said it didn't make any sense.
It is getting worse.
I
I'm
don't
giving
understand
this
how
a-
you don't understand that there's two separate championships. Like,
Give him a fucking quarter.
But then you
I'm
also
confused.
you
Wait,
also
wait.
you
Everybody
definitely-
stop. Mike only. I would like you to explain what point you're making. Because
First,
I don't understand.
I didn't realize it. Honestly,
explain,
didn't
just
realize
wait.
that they weren't
Yeah.
in their own title matches. And I'm putting it towards. I'm comparing it to the fact that you talked shit about Undertaker not being on the main card on my last pay-per-view.
But they were on the card though.
But
Yeah,
they were. But ours
world
had
title's
them
below the
also
mid-card
doing
title.
stuff. So,
not having a match.
Why was the world title below the
but they
mid-card
didn't have
title?
a match for their own
It was just
fucking.
more people were going. Sorry, just answer John's question real quick. More people were trying to go for the world title in that point in time. So that's where it went to the War Games thing. Liv and Ruby is a personal feud with the title involved in it.
I feel like you could have done the personal feud without the title.
But she
And then
already had the
She's
title.
the
And then-
champion.
Well, you booked it that way. And then you could have spread it out. You could have spread it out more.
This is a 1.75. I just don't like. I just.
I feel like
All
you
right.
Let's just move on. Let's
Yeah,
just move
no,
on.
all right.
Let's
I-
go for one title.
Because I feel like I'm
I'm fucking-
redefending a match we already defended. and
That's
not-
fine.
shit.
We need to move on.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead, Keif. You're up.
That was a good moment.
I still don't know what Mike was trying to say because it doesn't make sense.
It all
I love
sucks.
you,
That's fine. Just say that then. Don't say all the extra shit that doesn't make sense.
That's more fun though.
I get
You
to
know what
make
you're
that
talking about.
face in the background.
Remember when Undertaker wasn't on the match? Same thing, even though Becky had a match.
Except
What are
she
you
wasn't in her
talking
own
about?
fucking match. I don't fucking know. Your
It's as
booking
much
is
her matches
terrible.
as everybody else.
Except, didn't she have her own fucking title? Why do we have that defending somewhere?
I gotta make a
She
second
did.
pot now. How to start the fuck up this
That
first
was,
one?
that was part of the issue with that match to begin with.
But I don't
She's
understand.
the champion,
Gotta play
trying
the
to-
seasoning.
Yeah.
Play that seasoning.
But she
That's
was
why
going
that-
for a number one contendership of another championship.
No, it was of her own champion.
Needs a little more.
So it's just getting worse. Just go, Keith. Just go.
I'm trying, but you won't shut the fuck up.
All right, you're done. So, anyways, you get a 0.5. It doesn't matter what your main event is.
Woo!
Wait, there's one more War Games.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
So
Correct.
the last match is War Games match for control of AWC.
What?
This match, Stephanie McMahon and Eric Bischoff have had it with one another over since they both took charge as general managers. They've shared an office originally, and since day one, they've been at each other's throats. Eric Bischoff at one point tries to fire Stephanie, and for weeks he tries to find a way to get rid of her. Stephanie tells him, "You can't fire me. You don't have that authority to fire me," and Bischoff tries to get rid of her, doing whatever he can. He even tries to falsify documents, falsify rating statistics, and even get some of the roster to file formal complaints against Stephanie. He tries anything he can think of to get rid of her, just to have 100% control over AWC. Stephanie tries to be a fair, reasonable, and understanding general manager to her roster, and is often being the voice of reason and insists the talent settle the differences inside the ring. Stephanie doesn't believe in being overly flashy and insists on highlighting the talent as opposed to using her power to promote her own gains, such as Eric Bischoff has been doing. One night on Supreme, Bischoff has had enough and threatens Stephanie and tells her that if she doesn't give up her power in AWC, then he will just have to take it from her. Stephanie has had enough of Eric's constant going after her. She gets in Eric's face and pokes him in the chest and says, excuse me, I have done my best to build this brand and do what's best for Alpha Wrestling Championship. All you've done is try and make yourself the center of attention, like it's all about you. AWC is about the talent the competition, and most of all, these people, the fans. You've been trying to screw me out of this job and get me out of AWC, but I am not what's wrong with AWC. I am not the problem here. It's you. I am so tired of fighting with you just for you to constantly go behind my back and try to screw me over. I challenge you to a match. And Bischoff laughs in her face and says, you want a match against me? And what? The loser has to resign and give up their control? You're on. And Stephanie shakes her head and says, oh, I'm not challenging you to a one-on-one match. Come on, Eric, you're smarter than that. While I have no doubt I could kick your ass all over this ring, I have something else in mind. You choose a team of superstars, and I'll choose my team, and we'll settle this just as I always do in the ring, but not just any ring, inside of War Games. The following week, Eric Bischoff has already announced the members of his team. Bischoff says that he has chosen the most vicious and savage fighters that AWC has to offer. He has chosen JBL, Billy Gunn, Christian Cage, Kevin Owens, and Ken Shamrock. Stephanie stands in the ring and is about to announce her team, but as she goes to announce it, she's interrupted by Bischoff and his team, and they make their way down the ramp and surround the ring. You know, we could wait till Sunday, or we could just dispose of you right now. And Bischoff's team starts to slowly climb in the ring. Stephanie stops them by saying, easy, boys. Don't forget I'm still your boss. And if any of you decide to do anything stupid, I'll make sure none of you ever work in this business again. I came out here to announce my team members. And she announces her team of the AWC champion, Mick Foley, the gold standard, Shelton Benjamin, the mastermind, Sami Zayn, the show-off, Dolph Ziggler, and the craziest son of a bitch in AWC, Terry Funk. Team Stephanie come out one by one as she announces them and line up in front of the ramp one by one. Funk and Foley turn to each other, give a nod, and the rest of the team storms the ring. Team Bischoff hops off the apron and meets them at the ramp. Excuse me. Team Bischoff hops off the ring apron and meets them where the ramp meets the ringside area, and the two teams start to trash talk back and forth. Eric Bischoff is on the apron above them, shouting down, and as he turns around, Stephanie slaps him, knocking him off the apron, crashing down on top of Team Bischoff. Team Stephanie pounces on their downed opponents, and it's an all-out brawl breaks out as AWC goes off the air. Let's see. The night of TakeOver, it is announced that Christian Cage has not medically been cleared to compete after the brawl on Supreme, and he will not be competing in the War Games match. Christian is interviewed in his locker room and is packing his luggage ready to leave the arena. Christian says, AWC medics won't clear me to fight, so I'm taking it upon myself to leave and avoid any chance of being viciously attacked again by Team Stephanie. General Manager Bischoff and I talked about it earlier, and we've come to the decision together. Team Bischoff needs someone who can match my natural charisma, someone who'll be a future world champion, and a team captain for Team Bischoff. The final spot of Team Bischoff will be a top 5 talent. It will be Tyson Tomko.
Let's fucking go. I've been waiting for this moment. Finally, the payoff.
The crowd boos the announcement as Christian tells the
I'm in
interviewer.
the crowd.
Hey, that means you bought a ticket.
Yeah.
Simone throwing a
Thanks for your
fucking
money.
Pepsi can.
Simone won the ticket off a radio station.
And Christian turns to the interviewer and says, now, will you kindly get the hell out of my locker room and let me finish packing my gear? And the interviewer leaves. And then as for the match, let's get there.
Let me just say, before you get any further with this,
Do it.
between my Enzo Amore impression and yelling at Mike, my throat fucking hurts. So
Good.
If we can't break you mentally, we're gonna break you physically. Or I'm MJF. Oh, so I can't break you mentally? Okay.
The match begins with Kevin Owens from Team Bischoff and Sami Zayn from Team Stephanie. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn immediately lock up and start trading punches repeatedly. Kevin Owens Irish whips Sami Zayn and smacks him with a super kick on the rebound. Kevin Owens stomps on Zayn as he lies on the ground. Owens goes into the other ring and hits a slingshot senton onto Sami Zayn. He picks Zayn up by the neck or by the head and smacks his head off of the War Games structure before locking in a sleeper hold. Owens holds on to the sleeper hold for a while before finally hitting Zayn with a sleeper suplex. The crowd is booing Owens, and he's eating it up in the ring, standing on the middle rope, screaming back at them through the structure. Kevin Owens picks up Sami Zayn and hits him with a sit-out scoop slams pile driver as the crowd boos him even more. Owens grabs Zayn again and drops him over the middle rope before standing between Zayn's shoulder blades and choking him on the middle rope, all still while playing it up to the crowd. Owens picks up Zayn's body and hits him with a sidewinder suplex and then laughs at the crowd's boos. The buzzer goes off and Ken Shamrock sprints to the ring for Team Bischoff. Shamrock enters the ring and immediately hits a deadlift belly-to-belly suplex on Sami Zayn. Kevin Owens and Shamrock stomp and punch on Zayn continuously, and Owens hits a senton onto Sami Zayn. The assault on Zayn continues until finally the buzzer sounds again, and Dolph Ziggler rushes down to the ring and save his partner. Ziggler comes in hot, sit-out facebuster to Ken Shamrock. Kevin Owens comes over to make the save, but gets hit with a power slam for his troubles. Ziggler reveals in the cheer. Ziggler revels in the cheers that are pouring in from the crowd, but is hit with a low blow by Ken Shamrock. Shamrock then hits the German suplex onto the show off before thrashing him with his fists and forearms. Sami Zayn runs across the ring and attacks Ken Shamrock. Zayn grabs a wrist lock on Shamrock and immediately transitions to a springboard tornado DDT. Unfortunately, Kevin Owens is right there to grab Zayn and hits him with a pop-up powerbomb. Ziggler answers with an inverted body slam to Kevin Owens, and as he does, the buzzer sounds and Billy Gunn sprints to the ring. Billy Gunn opens with a famouser to Dolph Ziggler right away and then stomps on Ziggler's back. Let's see. Gunn.
Then grabs Sami Zayn.
Gunn then grabs Sami Zayn, nailing him with a vertical suplex power slam. Billy flexes to the crowds as Sensational Sherry catcalls him from the outside of the ring. Kevin Owens and Ken Shamrock are back up and have separated Zayn and Ziggler into separate rings and are beating both men down. Shamrock and Billy Gunn double teamed Dolph Ziggler in the far corner of the far ring, and Sami Zayn starts fighting back in his ring, however, and eventually hits Owens with a sit-out scoop slam pile driver. Sammy sprints towards the other ring and suicide dives into the ring. He catches the neck of Billy Gunn on his descent and nails him with a tornado DDT. Shamrock turns around and starts brawling with Zayn, but Zayn remains resilient and hits Shamrock with a Blue Thunder Bomb. The buzzer sounds once again, and Shelton Benjamin rushes to the ring to help maintain Team Stephanie's momentum. Benjamin grabs Owens off the ground and immediately hits him with a turnbuckle powerbomb. Benjamin props Owens into the corner and runs into the opposite turnbuckle and back, nailing Owens with a stinger splash. Benjamin takes Owens up on his shoulders and hits him with a Samoan drop. Benjamin runs to the other ring and hits a springboard somersault neckbreaker to Billy Gunn. To Billy Gunn, Zayn, Benjamin, and Ziggler, or Billy Gunn to Billy Gunn. Zayn, Benjamin, and Ziggler celebrate and stand tall in the ring before dividing the men amongst themselves. Ziggler grabs Shamrock and hits him with a German suplex. Zayn handles Owens in the opposite ring, hitting him with an orange crush. The buzzer sounds, and out of the holding cell comes JBL, led to the ring by Bobby Heenan. JBL gets in the ring and immediately hits a flowing DDT to Sami Zayn. JBL then goes to the next ring and nails Shelton Benjamin with a swinging neckbreaker. Then Ziggler runs over to stop JBL, but gets hit with a big boot. JBL grabs Ziggler off the ground and locks in a bear hug, wearing Ziggler down. Sami Zayn goes to stand up, but Owens hits him with a high angle senton bomb to keep him grounded. Owens takes Zayn to the top rope and hits him with a Steenalizer. Sorry, that caught me off. Steenalizer. Billy Gunn grabs Benjamin and nails him with a pile driver. The heels continue to beat their opponents down until the buzzer sounds again and Terry Funk enters the war. Terry Funk grabs a steel chair from under the ring and a black drawstring bag. Funk enters the ring and starts laying into the heels one by one with chair shots to the head. Terry Funk celebrates by slapping the chairs against the cage walls and screaming before laying into Shamrock repeatedly in his back with the chair. Dolph Ziggler Irish whips JBL into the corner and hits him with a stinger splash. Sami Zayn rushes in behind him and hits JBL with a Yakuza kick. What does he call it?
Yakuza. Helluva kick is what Sami Zayn calls it, but I use the actual name.
I never think of Sami Zayn's name. Billy Gunn starts attacking both men, Irish whipping Sami Zayn into the corner and then Irish whipping Ziggler into the same corner. The two men crash into one another and land in a heap. Billy Gunn props them both up into the corner and then hits a stinger splash on both of them. The buzzer sounds, and the final member of Team Bischoff, Tyson Tomko, makes his way to the ring. Tomko enters the ring and nails Benjamin with a power slam. He then hits Terry Funk with a big boot. Tomko stomps Terry Funk in the corner. Kevin Owens is in the opposite corner assaulting Shelton Benjamin. Owens ascends to the top rope and hits Benjamin with a bullfrog splash. Ziggler and Zayn fight back against Billy Gunn. Zayn hitting Billy Gunn with a super kick to the midsection, and Dolph Ziggler hits Billy with a famouser. Ziggler lays into Billy with shots to the head. Zayn jumps to the top rope, then jumps off the ropes, grabbing the top of the structure and pushing off with his feet, and nailing Billy Gunn with a moonsault.
Okay, let me explain that. So he jumps up to the like he springboards up onto the top rope, jumps up, grabs the cell, like the wall of the cell, and then puts his feet on the cell and moonsaults off of the cell.
Like a frog.
It's a double jump moonsault. But
Yeah.
he's using the cell instead of using like middle to the top rope.
Okay.
He's using top rope to the cell.
Okay.
So the buzzer sounds again, and the AWC champion, the final member of this match, Mick Foley, runs to the ring. Foley rolls in the ring and instantly goes for Tomko, nailing the big man with a cactus clothesline, sending both men into the next ring. Foley scrambles to Tomko and begins biting at his forehead. Tomko is able to push Foley off and get back to his feet, though. Shelton Benjamin hits Tomko with a springboard flying clothesline, but Tomko stays on his feet. Ziggler and Zayn see Tomko wobbling though, and decide to capitalize on it. Zayn nails Tomko with a super kick, and Dolph hits Tomko with a zigzag, sending the big man into the mat. Kevin Owens grabs Shelton Benjamin and hits him with an F sync.
Yeah,
F-sync.
It's an F5, but he calls
Okay.
it the F sync. He also calls it deep sea diverticulitis. So whichever one you prefer.
Mick Foley locks in the mandible claw on Tyson Tomko, but Tomko is able to overpower Foley and hits him with a tombstone piledriver. Terry Funk nails Tomko with a moonsault plancha off the top rope. Funk grabs the black drawstring bag and pours the thumbtacks all over the ring. Terry Funk goes for a piledriver, but Billy Gunn stops him and hits Funk with the gunslinger. Kevin Owens grabs Mick Foley, dragging him over to the pile of thumbtacks, hitting Foley with a package piledriver onto the pile of thumbtacks. Tomko hits Sami Zayn with a clothesline, then picks Benjamin up for a TKO cutter.
Which is basically a reverse F5 cutter.
Ziggler starts laying everyone out with super kicks, finishing off with Tomko. Zayn is back to his feet and climbs to the top of the structure and does a 450 splash onto Tomko. 1, 2, but the pin is broken up by Ken Shamrock. Mick Foley hits Shamrock with a double arm DDT, and Foley climbs to the top of the structure and jumps off the structure for a cactus elbow onto Tomko. But Tomko moves at the last second, and Foley thuds against the canvas. Shamrock grabs Foley by the ankle and locks in an ankle lock. Foley is on the brink of death and is going to have to quit, but Ziggler hits Shamrock with a super kick, laying him out. JBL nails Ziggler with a clothesline from hell. Terry Funk grabs JBL and hits him with a pile driver. Famouser to Terry Funk from Billy Gunn, and Benjamin runs in and hits a leaping reverse STO onto Gunn. Before he can make the pin, a stunner from Owens to Benjamin, and Sami Zayn comes in. Snap brainbuster on Owens. 1, 2, 3. And Team Stephanie has won the War Games, has won control of AWC, and that's the match.
It's a pretty damn good match, if you ask me.
Who had the pin?
Sami Zayn.
Sami Zayn.
On
On
to
to
Kevin
Owens.
Owens.
On to Kevin Owens.
Yes, sir.
Who wants to go first?
You go first, Mike.
So,
Oh, but by the way, Stinger Splash is our intellectual property.
It's the name of the move.
you're not a lot. It could
It's just a splash.
just a
No,
splash.
a splash is when they're laying on the ground.
A corner splash.
It's called a stinger splash. That's the name of the move.
We're suing.
It's still suing. Also, because you rate Sting so low, you're not allowed to use it.
Simone will sue over the side of a ring. Don't even try to go at his legal team.
Look. There's an extra I in stinger splash. Go lawyered.
Goat shit.
We took TNA's lawyers, bitch.
Them lawyers working
We're-
overtime.
We're still in court for that one.
You're losing.
You couldn't even get a cease and desist.
the story of the control over is not original, and I get that.
Okay.
Especially in war games.
Okay.
Hello NWO. I didn't hate it. I liked it. I felt like the build was pretty straightforward. There wasn't really much to it. I don't give a shit about Tyson Tomko. Even I don't give a shit. I'm gonna go with a 4.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so I would have rather that you didn't do the Tomko switch for Christian. I feel like or at least have Christian show up and interfere in some way, not just leave the fucking building.
That's fair.
Also, you said, when does Stephanie announce her team?
She announced it after so Bischoff had already announced his team, and Stephanie goes to announce it on Saturday Night Supreme, and before
That's
she can announce
literally
it,
the
that's when
day before, right? How much of a gap is between when she announces her team and when the actual pay-per-view happens? Because you said at one point you went in the promo, you said, just wait until Sunday. We can just beat you down now instead of waiting till Sunday, which to me sounds like there's only a week, but there's not even a week because your pay-per-view, your weekly show's on a Saturday, your pay-per-view on Sunday.
Tomorrow.
It's literally tomorrow. So
You
you're
try to
literally
dodge this one.
you're
I mean,
literally there's no
Okay.
build to her team happens, and then there's no real build or interaction between the two teams. It feels like it's just it feels crammed. You just crammed it into a really tight space. Where I feel like you could have.
That's what I do.
Organic loving.
You could have spread that out more and done more interaction between the two teams and stuff like that, 6-man tags or promos and stuff like that. It's
So,
really crammed.
You want them to interact and fight each other before they fight each other.
Well, you can have them interact.
I don't agree with the 6-man tag matches, but I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
That I think 6-man tag match is redundant because
that was just an idea.
Yeah.
It could have been.
I get what you're saying. I understand what you're saying.
It just felt crammed in there. So I'm gonna give you. I think the overall match would have been okay. I don't like that you took out Christian completely. And I got to be consistent with that. So for that, I'm going to give you a 3.5.
Okay.
All right, I'll go next. I respect the audacity of the Tomko pick, both in the draft and here. But Christian would have made this match so much better.
Look, if it's
However,
not,
I will say this. Because Damone forgot about one way Christian could have interacted with this match, because he's literally holding money in the bank. Now we don't get to see that payoff. I'm not gonna.
That is a good point.
I'm not gonna penalize you for that because
God damn it.
the reason I'm not gonna penalize you is because I predicted it, and
after.
you didn't do the thing that I predicted. So if I would have,
they're waiting till after this to do the Money in the Bank part. I can tell. They're
So
What are you talking about?
There was no World Heavyweight Championship match?
No.
I thought
He's
that they
in
were.
the fucking War Games match.
Yeah.
I thought that they were mad that I had thought of something that they forgot about rather than that they were planning.
Yeah.
I mean,
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
But if I spoiled that, I apologize.
It's all good.
So I'm not going to penalize it. I'll give you the Ziggler stipend and the Ziggler wins bonus. That's obligatory. I feel like this match is really good athletically. It has a nice blend of talent for the most part. Besides Tomko, he's just kind of fucking there. But the other 7 are great. So, do I have any complaints about the match? I'm not really butthurt we didn't get a world title match because this is better than any Mick Foley singles match we would have gotten.
I forgot that.
Yeah, I forgot that.
You know what?
Yeah.
I'm going to give this a 4.5. I like it.
Thank you.
thanks. Yeah.
I can't think of anything to bitch about.
If you can't, then
Yeah.
So wait, Foley's the face of the company for real? I didn't even think about that just now.
World champion.
He's their world champion, yeah.
it sure is.
Ew. That's
I fuck with Foley, so I'm not mad about it.
about as ashy as you can get right there.
You don't like McFoley?
No, I like Mick Foley. It's just kind
You're
of.
a
I would
hardcore
never
fan.
have him as a face of my company, though.
You would never make him world champion?
Okay, Vince.
No, I wouldn't.
Okay.
He's at least a transitional champion.
He, in my opinion, he can't wrestle. He cannot wrestle. In my opinion, he can take moves. Like he's pretty much like he's a stunt dummy. Like how you guys said before, Ric Flair called him a stunt dummy. That's what he is. He's a stunt dummy. I love to watch it. I love to watch it, but
You love
we're
to
gonna
see
be
it.
real. That man can't wrestle.
Yeah, Flair wasn't wrong.
I think he's competent at wrestling. I disagree. He's not amazing, but competent.
If my Sandman Shane McMahon match gets low ratings,
I
I'm
gave-
bring it back to
hold
that.
up.
That's what I'm
give
doing.
you a 5.
I gave you a 5.
I'm looking at Keif on this one.
I know
You
you
gave me a low rating. I'm not gonna do you dirty because of that. Just know I'm thinking about it. I'm still a little hurt by that. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
All right.
I love how we all have matches where we're like, fuck you for this one.
Yeah.
I don't remember what. Well, mine was the Alexa Bliss AJ Lee match. That's the one I'm still pissed off about.
Walter versus Shinsuke. I'm so mad that
I'm
you
gonna be mad about
rated me
that
for shit that
crucifix
didn't
match
happen
for
yet.
life.
Die mad.
No, but tough my rating. I really don't see any negatives for this for real. Besides Tomko, but I can't do you dirty. over
Storyline
Tom.
wise, it was a good move.
No, obviously, yeah. Like I get it. That's why I'm not penalizing you for it. I mean, he was the 5th round pick.
It'd be different. It would be different if we were like, you know what, Ric Flair versus Tyson Tomko for the world title going 60 minutes.
Yeah,
I'm in a
I was gonna
fucking
say, it's just-
8-man War Games.
Tomko carries.
10-man. No, it's 10-man.
And he was the last one in.
Yeah, and he had to do
Oh, I would have
nothing.
been pissed if he was the last one. I'm like, who's number 10? And he comes out. I'm like, ew.
He was number 9.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
who they are though beforehand. So I mean,
Well, yeah.
No, it's just
Also, I already took it off for that, but like Mike said, the 2 general managers who fight for control is it's.
I'm not going to do
I'm not
that.
gonna penalize for it, but
That's
I mean, we've had repeat storylines. Like it happens. You know, you're gonna come across that. Like
Well,
It's
yeah.
going to happen.
Unless somebody gets like
John-
raped on air or something, like we have to see something
John-
new. Like it has to be something crazy. And I feel like
Yeah,
Kane has done that
Me
already.
and Kenny have been running that
Kane
storyline.
or-
Even a
did that.
crucifixion.
Kane
even the
didn't do it. Triple H
crucifixion
did it.
Was
You're right. Never
even
mind
the
that.
crucifixion got repeated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what also John and Kenny. We've been subtly hinting at the divide between Stephanie and Erickson's pay-per-view one.
Yeah, we've been
you guys went fucking pedal to the metal. And
I
I told you
actually
that
wish-
after that match, after
Yeah.
that pay-per-view, like, hey, I'm
Yeah.
doing this still.
I wish that y'all had actually been more blatant about it.
Okay, that's fair.
Okay.
Yeah. But back to my rating.
Have
no,
that
I
story
gave-
with your
I gave
chest.
you a
It's just
4.
hard to do it and make it so blatant without it being repetitive.
Especially with it so far out. Yeah.
Yeah.
But go ahead, Kenny.
Well, the build up to this show should have really gotten like ramped up.
It did. It was in 4 or 5 of the storylines.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gave you guys a 4. It was a
Thank
few things in match that like little nitpicky stuff in match, but other than that, nothing too crazy. Like that's why I gave you a 4.
Okay. So everybody's rated?
No, Mike has to rate.
I
I
rated.
thought Mike rated first. What'd you rate?
Oh yeah, he did.
Oh, what was it? I didn't hear
I
it.
thought it was a 4.
It was. You're right. Yep.
Okay, so I had a 4. Mike had a
Alright,
4.
I'm just a
John-
dick today, apparently.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
So is that everything? Is that everyone?
Nope.
Is
Nope.
that hold on, wait. Go ahead, Mike. Just run through the end of the show. Wait a minute.
Sorry.
It's fucking almost 1 o'clock. Can we please?
3 more matches. 3 more matches. 3 more.
Yeah, we
matches.
got 3 more.
I told you 6 scheduled matches. But wait, there's more.
So, after the match, as Zayn and Team Stephanie celebrate their victory over Team Bischoff, Tomko nails Zayn with a steel chair to the head. Then he hits Ziggler with a big boot, sending him crashing to the outside of the ring. Tomko choke slams Shelton Benjamin out of the ring. Terry Funk attacks Tomko, but Tomko takes his head off with a lariat. Tomko grabs a chair again, and his eyes are set on Mick Foley, lying on and recovering on the mat. Stephanie McMahon tries to get between Tomko and Foley, ordering Tomko to drop the chair and leave the ring, but Tomko grabs Stephanie by the hair and tosses her through the ropes down to the ringside area.
Jesus.
It was
Like, get the
super
fuck
good.
out of here, bitch.
Sounds on brand.
That's like fucking Super Saiyan Tomko. He's like, he's leading the insurrection now.
His goatee turned blonde for this moment, by the way.
That's disgusting.
He's wearing a red hat.
And his tattoos are glowing too.
That's disgusting.
He looks like fucking the Avatar right now.
That's disgusting.
He's in the Avatar state.
Tomko unleashes on Foley with the chair as Christian Cage's music hits. Christian sprints to the ring with his Money in the Bank briefcase in hand. He hands the briefcase to the referee and cashes in. Christian immediately climbs to the top rope and hits Foley with a diving dropkick as Foley tries to stumble to his feet. Christian bounces back to his feet and posts up in the corner and screams at Foley, telling him to stand up. Foley again stumbles to his feet and is met with a spear from Christian. Christian picks up the lifeless heap of Mick Foley's body off the canvas and goes for the unprettier, but Foley is able to reverse it and locks in a mandible claw. Christian stumbles backwards and falls into the ropes, forcing Foley to break the hold before the 5 count of the referee. Christian Cage hops up on the ropes as Foley runs to the opponent's side of the ring. He rebounds off the ropes and hits Cage with a cactus clothesline, sending both men into the second ring. Foley again goes to bite at his forehead, causing Christian to bleed, and then lays in several stiff punches to the open wound. Foley grabs Christian and hits him with a double arm DDT, and Foley covers Christian, but Cage kicks out at the last possible second, and Mick Foley starts to unload on Christian with rights and lefts, and finally stands up. Foley is a complete lunatic, unhinged right now, and frantically looks around the ring when he sees the War Game structure hanging halfway above the ring. Foley climbs to the top of the ropes, grabs hold of the War Game structure, and climbs up about halfway before doing a one-hand finger gun, bang, bang, and jumping off the cage for a cactus elbow. Christian rolls over right at the last second, and Foley crashes to the canvas. Christian picks up Foley and hits an unprettier for the pin and the win. Tomko and Eric Bischoff enter the ring and present the title to a bloody Christian Cage. Bischoff is handed a microphone as Stephanie is shown distraught on the stage. Bischoff yells out to Stephanie, "Stephanie, you may have control of the company, but I have your champion." And the three celebrate in the ring as TakeOver goes off the air.
Wait, say that last line one more time, like the actual line he said.
He says, "Stephanie, you may have control of the company, but I have your champion." So like they're in cahoots together.
Do we rate? We rating this?
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
segment.
Yeah, and the match.
Okay, so
Sounds
I
like a
don't.
match, yeah.
I don't love Mick Foley going up to the hanging structure and jumping off. The logistics just aren't there. As much as I appreciate the ambition, I
Okay,
do
so-
appreciate the ambition.
What do you mean?
I have something. Yeah, the logistics are there because it's not like it's completely up there. It's only like
Why
less,
is it
like when he's
halfway?
standing-
It's
because
like
they
a
stopped
barely
it when
above.
Tomko started. They stopped it when Tomko started killing everybody.
Yeah.
They do that stuff with. They do that with steel cages and Hell in the Cells whenever there's a post
They
match
just leave
brawl.
it
If
halfway.
Yes,
if
they've done
OSHA
it,
shows
yes.
up and they're moving that while stuff's going on, they're gonna get fined.
But yes, it's literally just above the ropes. Like maybe
Yeah.
How the
maybe this far
motherfuckers
above
get
the
in?
ropes. What? What do you mean?
What do you mean?
They're
Like,
not
you know-
that tall. They're not 12 feet tall.
I don't understand. They went through the ropes.
Yeah.
This is like when you said that Bam Bam Bigelow couldn't get hit with the tarantula, but Rikishi's been hit with it. So like I'm so confused.
Sorry, I just don't recall ever seeing like a structure halfway hanging.
They do it's. I will
That's
say this: it's not
absolutely happened.
super common. You're right, but it does happen.
Okay. So that's kind of fucking weird. So you got me on the logistics. It's possible. I still don't love it.
They did it during Steve Austin versus Mankind, I think, during a Hell in a Cell.
But I do appreciate the ambition. So I'll give you that. I did call the Money in the Bank, so I'm sorry for spoiling it for everybody else. But because I predicted it, it's a little bit less. I can't hate on it.
Is
but
it or does it make you really smart?
Don't.
Nice.
This is
You
it.
trying to pander for them
No.
money.
Trying to get his coin.
I don't know.
The motherfucker couldn't figure out how to get in the ring.
No, because the way I was picturing it was like it just sitting right above the rope, and a motherfucker tries to get in the ring and like run off the ropes.
No,
He
no, no.
bonks his
It's like-
head.
It's like 5 feet above the top rope.
Okay, I thought it was like
Yeah.
sitting like right above the top rope. Motherfuckers are bonking their head, running off it or something. What the
No,
fuck
yeah,
is
yeah.
this?
Because he has to
It's a
climb to the
hovering
top
rope
rope,
game.
and he reaches up and pulls and starts climbing up that way.
So how do I want to rate this? Because one, I was the only one who predicted it, so it wasn't too predictable. But I'm a smart mark, so
You're not a Dumark.
I'm gonna give this a. I like the improvement in champions. So I'm gonna give it a 3.75.
Okay.
Okay.
So his
I have a
elbow
question.
blew up, by the way. Just to
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
He missed
Why
like
did-
3 elbows.
why did Tomko not go to the Avatar state during the fucking match?
He wasn't actually in the Avatar state. That was
I know. I am aware. I'm just saying, why did he go crazy during the?
He went Ultra Instinct. He just went crazy.
At a stupid ass time.
Right.
He
And
went
like,
8 gates.
yeah, they
He
could've
went
had-
8 gates.
could've
You
had
don't care
both.
about.
They could have had the company and the championship.
You get
Now
you get
they only
five
get
you get $5
get
from
half.
me. You went
It was
8 gates
sneak attack.
Tomko.
Yeah, how many dollars?
So you get 5 from me. You went 8 gates
bet.
Tomko.
But I mean, it was a sneak attack, so that like plays into it. It's the same thing with the Becky versus Bianca argument where
Which I
she
hated.
beat her in 26 seconds, but then they had a whole ass match later. It's a sneak attack, and he had a fucking steel chair.
And
Okay.
they just got done with like a hellacious match. Like,
Okay. But in playing that, Mick Foley got in too much offense. Like,
Okay.
I feel like you should have just had Christian come out, be evil, get in the ring the bell, immediately unprettier.
I
What-
disagree with you
something-
in that philosophy. I feel like there should be a false hope that the champion's not going to lose. is going to retain his title. I think that has to be there for a good cash in.
Especially for a character like Mick Foley, who's
strongly
built off
disagree with
toughness.
that idea.
Did Dolph?
Otherwise, it
was
doesn't
there
matter.
a false finish in the Dolph one?
Yes.
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 In
There's quite
fact,
a
he
few.
almost lost.
I
Like he
can't
remember.
really almost lost.
Yeah, like that. Yes.
Okay.
It was a
Well,
match. Like a whole match.
Foley got
Outside
hard.
of that, I don't really have a lot of complaints. I'm gonna give you a 4.
Bet.
I'm also going 4.
Bet.
Actually, I'm gonna take a quarter off because the last thing we saw was Tyson Tomko, and that's disgusting.
That's not the last thing.
The
4.75.
last thing you saw was Christian Cage's bloody body holding up the title.
Is that everybody?
And Tyson Tomko was near him.
He wasn't in frame.
He was in the
He
second
was
ring.
he was still in the Avatar state.
No, I was just messing with you. You still kept your pie from me.
Thank you.
Did John vote?
Yeah, I gave it a 3.75.
Oh, that's right. And Mike gave it a 5.
I gave it a 4.
I gave it a
right?
4.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Remember when Mike said he was going to give us a 5 on the end zone cast match?
Yep.
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
He says the
Yep.
Mike has no memory of this.
Nope.
Get
All right.
fucked, dorks.
So that's book it for this week. I can't do this. Let's
can't.
do
Okay, I got it. Now we're gonna do plugs. Kenny, you go first.
Go to the Bad Guys Spoken podcast on YouTube. Check out the Horanchi show that we have. And check out Unbiased.
What is that? That Spanish?
Yeah, Horanchi.
Yeah,
They
you
put a lot of
don't
H in there.
like that.
Horanchi. Check out Unbiased, the new football podcast on the Bad Guys Spoken podcast channel as well. Check out the album show, the Jukebox, where my brother Brandon, he reviews different shows. But yeah, check out all the kind of different stuff shit on there. Bad Guy Versus, play video games, and other shows where we eat food because we're fat. We got like 3 different food shows.
Really
Yeah.
Okay. John, you got anything?
Yes.
a good
If you
shirt,
want to,
John.
thank you. Bill Murray is a great band. Follow them. But also, if you want to see me talk more shit about wrestling, follow Lil X Fudge on Twitter, and you will see me mostly call Brock Lesnar a bum.
Bum ass Brock Lesnar.
Travi.
Follow me on all social media at I am Travi T. That's at IAMTRAVVYT on Twitter, Instagram, and the Tick of Talk.
Mike, you got any plugs?
I go last.
I was gonna let Keith through that part.
I go last. Oh, right. Keith's here. So you can find me on TikTok. Hi-Fi Mike. You can find me on Twitter, hi-fi_Mike.
Mike said, that doesn't work for me, brother. I go on last. I don't go on at all.
Well,
I
no,
like
I've been
I like
doing
Heel
it.
Mike. I like Heel Mike.
I've been doing it, and then I forgot that Keith is
That's his
Present.
job.
here.
Yeah. I'd be tweeting, I'd be TikToking. So follow me on both at DaMoney, DAMONEY, T. So the letter T, the number 1, the number 3. So DaMoney T13. I'd be tweeting and TikToking. Y'all already know the rest. Keith.
Oh, me.
Yes.
You can follow me personally at Late Night Keefy K on Twitter. I'm about to change my name to I Am Keefy K though, because that seems like it has a really good ring. Or you can follow Book It at Book It T13. You can also go over to T13media.com where you can find all of the T13 Media shows, including Bad Guys Spoken, Primetime with Travi T, Debatable, and Book It, a wrestling podcast, along with other shows that we've had on before. While you're there, make sure to stop off at the store where we have everything that your favorite Book It fan could ever want. Mugs, cups, pajamas. I think we have baby onesies, aprons. It's getting cold. You better get a hoodie. You know, fellas, it's fall season. That means all those girls are going to be stealing your hoodies. You better go get you a Book It hoodie. Get a Late Night Keefy tee, a Primetime Travi tee. All this you can find.
We
at
broke this man.
By the way, they're wrestling fans. They don't have girls.
Fair, true.
We're the
That
only ones
said,
that do.
head on over to organiclovin.com. You can find yourself some very, very nice self pleasure items.
Pleasure.
Use promo code T13 to get 10% off. All that, share, like, talk to us on Twitter, talk to us on TikTok. Talk to us because we might talk back.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's been this week's episode of Book It. Bye.
See ya.